hope everybody's enjoying their day-to-day home life now, thanks to this pandemic. As you all know from my last video that I did maybe a couple of weeks ago, I've just been at home just doing my usual stuff, revising my book and whatnot, catching up on some games. This week, though, was kind of not exactly so fun because my assignment was one of those assignments. But y'all aren't here for that. No, y'all aren't here for that, and I know some of you guys might be a little bit surprised, like, whoa, a Naruto podcast? Like, this early on? Is this an anniversary podcast so early? Like, no. This ain't the anniversary podcast, because I know that's what I've been doing for the past couple of years, but one will be coming. What that will be, I'm still working out the kinks on the idea, because part 1 versus part 2, in my opinion, was legendary, and not necessarily top that podcast, but trying to find something similar in that realm, But, of course, Road to Ninja. That's gonna be the topic. And you're probably wondering, why Road to Ninja? What of all the topics for Naruto to cover, why that in particular? Let's just say it was kind of me taking a little nostalgia trip rewatching Road to Ninja back in December. And I remember after watching it, I was like, you know what? I think it'd be cool to do a little retrospective on Road to Ninja. And because anytime I looked on YouTube, no one ever did a retrospective on a Naruto movie, so I figured, you know what? Let me start it off like this. Do this, and here we are. But, of course, doing a podcast, needless to say, y'all should wonder, am I doing it by myself? Hell no. Of course I'm not doing it by myself. I mean, yeah, technically I could, but what fun would it be just having me here by myself, like every other YouTuber?
Get on with it!
Yes, as you can hear him right now. Basically, I do have some friends here with me. So, why don't you guys come ahead and introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, JamesSCassidy here, and it's time for the actual Naruto podcast starting, since Lucky Chi kind of screwed this one up. Here today we have Lucky Chi 7, obviously. We have LKMNGH, also known as Steve.
Yep.
MangaReader in the corner.
Huh?
BlueStar.
Hello, everyone!
He's also the cursed child. Let's not forget about that.
And the legend, I hope you're all not lactose intolerant, Dairy Chatte.
Hi everyone, thanks James for the introduction.
You're very welcome, but what? What's this? What's this? We have a new member with us today, yeah. Straight from the Narusaku.com forums, it's Nostradamus. Say hello, buddy.
Hello there, and that's a lovely introduction. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Alright, enough with the shenanigans. Alright, so if anybody
intro.
After you stole it from me.
Shut up.
We all know where you sleep. Oh,
yeah.
Yes.
In a bed of lies.
So we're all here to talk about Road to Ninja the movie.
Yes.
Correct?
And I'm in
We've all
trouble
seen it.
because I...
Huh?
Also,
And I'm in trouble.
in the franchise.
Don't worry, BlueStar likes to read wiki notes.
Yes. Very much so.
No, I was just stating my opinion.
Sadly, 4Life couldn't make it today. Thank the fuck God. He's gonna kick my ass when he hears this.
Well, he lives in New York, and I hear that New York's the most horribly infected with the coronavirus in America, so it's hopefully safe and sound.
Again,
You're all
BlueStar,
wondering,
the
BlueStar
joke
is-
just flies over your head.
It does.
Seriously. We should name you Whoosh. As in whoosh. This joke is just whoosh, flying over your head.
But he's in
Sorry,
space.
I can't always have sense of humor through social media.
You don't get his sense of humor, the British sense of humor.
That's okay, because I make dollars of humor.
Yeah,
You make money?
Four Life wasn't able to join, and just to leave a little message out to him, we hope you're doing safe, everybody.
Yep.
Okay.
Stay indoors.
Wherever you are.
But I think we should get the show on the road here. What do you guys think?
I think we should.
Yep.
All right. So before we used to do, if anybody remembers the old podcast, I know this is Lucky Cheese Show, but I'm hijacking it for a little bit here for nostalgia purposes. But if you all remember the old podcast show, every time we had a new guest, we would ask them 3 very specific questions. Does anybody remember what those questions are?
Nope.
I remember
How you got into Naruto? How you got into Narusaku, and what was the moment that made you a Narusaku fan?
It was that.
Oh, those 3.
And Steve wins the cookie. All right, so Nostradamus,
Teacher's pet.
it's all on you.
Hey!
Wow.
Now, I'm the 3rd co-hostess with the mostest on this podcast.
He is.
Well, you know what
Okay.
they say.
I'm a veteran.
Okay, so for me, it started one day. I can't remember when, because I'm old. That's life. I was watching TV at one point, and I was switching the channels, and eventually I got to Naruto. Had no idea what the hell that was. And the episode that was playing was the episode where Naruto was fighting Gaara, the Fox episode.
nice.
I saw that, and I said, "Whoa, monsters! Cool! I'm gonna watch this." That's really how I got to Naruto. That's it.
Sure, there was like 60 episodes.
So what made
That's
you
it?
become a Narusaku fan?
It seemed just a logical thing to not really ship. It was the most logical part of the story. I mean, Naruto loves Sakura. Sakura was starting to warm up to Naruto. It seemed like a normal story.
So then, what was the moment? What was the moment that you thought best exemplified that they should be a couple?
Oh, I don't really have an answer for that one.
So basic.
Oh,
It's
okay.
so
Well, what
informative.
chapter was what Narasaka moment was your favorite?
Naruto saving saving Sakura from Gaara.
Yes. That
Okay.
iconic moment.
What? You mean that wasn't Sasuke and it wasn't Hinata that was taken hostage?
Was it?
No.
Yeah, you know the broom with the hair.
Oh yeah. Now that you say that, yes, that was actually Hinata. Naruto actually saved Hinata.
Okay, let's not be mean.
Hello, Naruto-kun.
Who was living vicariously through Sakura.
All the time.
I wonder if she dresses up as Sakura at night.
Oh, I just had that fairly odd parents thing. Call me Trixie! Trixie!
Hinata will do something, but I need you to wear this. What for?
Is that why she cut her hair short in Boruto?
Explains a lot.
Maybe.
Damn, it changed so often, didn't it? It went from short to long to short to long to short.
Just like her medical bills. Oh! Maybe that's when it got long. She was so busy paying off them medical bills to Sakura. So here's the other time I got my ass kicked. Couldn't afford that haircut.
A disturbance, a parallel universe. The movie.
But we're not here to rip on Hinata. Or are we? No, we're not.
No, we're not. Of course we're not.
There will be plenty in the movie.
So, Lucky G, now that we've done my thing, let's do yours.
Yes. First of all, I just want to say that was really good. Just hearing that again after such a long time. And everyone knows, Nostradamus is kind of new, so I'll lay out the details. I have to explain it to James back in part 1 versus part 2. But my podcasts have a bit of a structure to them, because I'm kind of like that. So we just got done with the introduction and introducing the newest member. And as far as the structure goes, so because it's an in-depth discussion with Road to Ninja, I decided to break it down into parts. So we're going to talk about what it was like prior to the movie. So basically, like marketing, like like the posters, the trailers. Then we'll dive into the movie with the story, the character's journey, side character thoughts after the movie, significant, and then a reflection of basically 4 questions. And that's kind of the gist of how this is going to go. And in saying that, let us actually dive into that. So, before the movie even came out, we had posters and we had trailers. And one more thing, this is an open discussion, so it's not going to be a thing where we all take turns, because I know that's something we also do too, but I'd let you all know about that. It's an open discussion, just like the last time.
Don't everybody talk at once.
Can I just say something?
Yes.
I'm kind of in trouble because I kind of deleted everything from my mind about Naruto, and well, I have to remember bits and pieces of it.
Like BlueStar.
So Naruto's the one in the orange jacket with the spiky blonde. Oh, okay, never mind.
Wasn't that Sasuke?
No, Sasuke was that emo bitch.
Sakura's the one with the pink hair. Or was it the purple hair?
Well, you can never understand.
No.
Remember the primary colors of blue, red, and yellow.
Green.
Or was it blonde? I'm pretty sure it was blonde.
Is Naruto the one with the 7 Dragon Balls?
No, that was episode 3. Well, from my point of view, the Konoha are evil. Don't do it, Sasuke! I have the high ground!
Well, now you've got the lava ground.
Don't worry, we both lose our
Everyone
arms.
knows that reference. Good on you.
Yeah. Chosen one.
But yeah, what I was going
Talk
to say.
about marketing now.
Yeah, so
I don't think there was much advertisement for Road to Ninja. There was like a movie poster and an announcement, but that's about it. It wasn't as big as Naruto the Last, where they had cutouts and festivals,
There was like,
pamphlets.
there was like
I
five
think
different,
say,
there was
but
5 different trailers.
Yeah,
Well, you know, the TV spots, yeah. There's
there was the trailers, and then I think Shannon.
The entire movie, for the most part. It's like,
There was actually a couple promotional artwork too.
Yeah, I think
really
Shannon.
good.
I think Shannon Jump once or twice at least advertised the movie, but otherwise, yeah, there was
It was
very little, or at the very least, I should say, very little to come out of Japan. Maybe there was more that we aren't aware of, but as far as we're aware, there were like 5 trailers and 1 movie poster.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought there was like 2 movie posters because one of them, or well, at least promotional art-wise, there was the one where they were in the ramen shop.
Shut up, MangaReader, no one asked you.
But I know these things.
Well, I'm just saying, I've never seen a lot of advertisement for it. Not like Naruto the Last was.
no.
okay. If
That's
we
because
compare
it's the most recent.
advertising-
At least in your mind.
Guys, we're not thinking this from a marketing perspective, in the sense that the target audience was different. The target audience for Road to Ninja was basically the homeland, Japan, not so much outside of it. Only got these bits and pieces. But then with the last, they wanted to. It was more of a movie, globally targeted, especially US based. So that's why we had a lot more targeting on, marketing on the last compared to Road to Ninja. But we still had some advertising to Road to Ninja. There was the posters in the ramen shop with that manga reader was saying with Sasuke and Sakura blushing around. There was also the poster with Minato, Kushina, and Naruto in front, and then everyone
You had
else.
Sakura and the Konoha 9, I think. With in the back.
And you also had that poster with, the world being upside down, so to speak.
That's actually the only thing I remember.
Yeah, and there was also some videos here and there,
The
advertising
hell's happening?
basically the world difference between. So it had some marketing, but if you were to compare with the last, of course, it didn't have. The last also had, like aggressive marketing compared to Rota Ninja.
Also, false advertisement.
Besides that,
Yeah, that's another thing I wanted to address. The advertising doth protest too much. At least in terms of one major aspect, the alternate universe characters. Whereas, the marketing would have led you to believe that these guys at least are in a good portion of the movie, where in fact they're only there for like what, 30, 40 minutes out of a 90-minute movie.
Less than that, actually.
Sasuke was in it for 2.
Yeah.
As
Two
far as
scenes.
everyone else, I think it was like maybe 2 or 3 scenes.
3 scenes.
Yeah.
3 scenes.
yeah, but
109-minute movie.
is
That's still too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the point is they were using that part. Okay, we didn't have them that much, but they were using that part to actually show how different that world is, because that was the actual focus of Rota Ninja, the differences between the worlds. And you could best see the differences by, seeing Hinata being all of a what it called a bully. Then Sasuke being this charming guy and whatnot. So it kind of made some sense. At least it wasn't false advertising from the point of view that they would make you believe that they're present very much. Okay,
This
not
isn't the
present
last
very
that
much,
made you think that Sasuke.
exactly.
Or it wasn't movie 2 where it was like, oh hey, Naruto and Sasuke, are they going to reunite? It's like, yeah, like at the very end.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that the scope, the objective was different here. So it makes kind of a lot of more sense, at least.
Was the filler episode part of the advertising, or was that a byproduct?
I think that was
Technically,
byproduct,
it was
though.
technically it was part of the advertising, just in a different way, as in to get people interested. Wait a minute, if this Sakura doesn't belong here, then where's our Sakura?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to find out, watch Rota Ninja the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had what? Because I think it was a promotion because they had a poster in the episode itself.
I noticed
If I'm
that.
not mistaken. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
So I think it was a promotion. I think it was like the episode before the movie actually came out.
Yeah.
And then there was still the manga that Kishimoto wrote, which was basically just the scene in the movie done in the actual universe, which was kind of interesting. Odd choice.
Which resulting in Naruto getting the classic beat down from Sakura by the end of it.
Yeah.
Gives it understanding where that her bra got stuck on his towel, so they assume he stole her underwear.
Japan, we need to talk about a few things here. just saying. I mean, I watched Dragon Ball Super 2 along with this one. You had a whole episode about Roshi about raping a girl, so we need to talk about something.
It's not just it's all anime. Trust me.
I mean, every anime is bound to get one pervert, okay?
Yep.
Kakashi.
That is Mineta. I'll say that.
Hey, Mineta's cool.
He wasn't free.
Yeah, it's about as yeah, Mineta's is about as cool as God, I can't even bring myself to say this. Mineta is about as cool as Joe Biden.
Oh, damn.
It's about as cool as Joe Biden hugging someone from behind.
What are we laughing about?
Okay, I don't want to bring politics into this.
That would be
Too late, you already did.
Thank you. Don't start BlueStar.
Too late, you did.
Damn it, BlueStar! Why do you got to put this?
Seriously, Blue, why?
Come on.
I'm not the one that brought up U.S. politics.
Okay, political boy.
Anywho, so yeah,
Wish with the joke.
so yeah, the marketing. So yeah, the marketing, it was there, but and the trailers themselves weren't all too bad. I think, well, they were just standard anyway.
We
Pretty
missed
much,
it.
Naruto in another world. What's going on? Who are these people?
Although I will have to say the chat brings up a good point about the advertising. It almost seems like Naruto the Last was just catering to the general audience of the Naruto fandom, most preferably the pairing fandom we don't want to talk about. And while Road to Ninja was more like to the real fans of Naruto, it almost seemed like.
Naruto the Last is weird because the advertisement was all over the damn place. I don't even think it really hinted at much of anything.
I think it was also because the manga was ending too. I think that's what also kind of gave it that bigger push at the time.
Well, they were hyping it up to be the end of the actual story somehow.
Yeah.
Which was weird. But,
Yeah, well, given that the whole thing was...
Road to Ninja was hyping up, hey, a story about Naruto and his parents.
Right, yeah.
Well, we didn't know about that. We know that they were going to be in it, but we didn't know what kind of movie it was going to be. And also, it was like, based on like the TV spots and stuff that I saw, I thought, okay, I thought it was just going to be like a fun little movie, but like, okay, here are all the alternate characters. That was my initial thought when all the marketing and stuff was coming. I was like, okay, I'm probably not going to expect anything great about the story, but I thought, okay, it'll probably be fun.
I think that was Kishimoto's only way to show how the Infinite Tsukiyomi would work, because if you think about in the real story, they didn't kind of show us how it actually works.
No, it didn't.
It just showed some panels with this and that, but it was, I mean, after all, they've been talking about it. We had some few scarce panels about this and that was it. We actually learned more from the actual movie, from Road to Ninja, than the actual manga, which is weird, but anyway.
What are you expecting the manga to actually explain things?
Yeah, well.
Oh, shots fired! Shots fired from Nostradamus here.
I mean, I do remember Kishi saying before the movie came out that there were things he wanted to do in the manga that he wasn't able to do, so he threw them in here. That's the one.
Like making Sakura a respectable character. Oh, did I say that out loud?
You might be right about that, though.
But one,
one marketing point of this movie was the fact that for the first time ever, you're going to see what Sakura's parents were like.
Yeah. And that was a part.
Or would have been like.
No, were like. Because, in the other world, there were these respectful ninjas and whatnot. But in this world, we had him, that was Sakura actually's main thing with them, that they didn't, wanted to become respectful jonins and all that. So that's actually life. And I think it's one of, it's true, because if you link it back to Kobayashi's interview, he actually talked about Sakura's parents at some point after the movie. The last came out and everything, and they were speaking about Naruto as a whole. And I remember him saying that he wanted to show more of Sakura, but, people weren't interested. People were hating her, so he kind of backed off on that idea. So then
I still have that interview.
The only problem with the addressing of the parents is the fact that even though Kishimoto wrote them, he never wrote them in the manga themselves, so we don't know if they would have changed or whatnot. So that's the only problem.
You know, at the very least, he did that. You know, he did that as a service to.
Yeah,
It's a service
Leads
to
to
the
the
curious
conspiracy
people.
theory.
to his fans, supposedly.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that the other thing is that because this was a prototype, Tsukuyomi, his actual one, not in full detail, did show you that everything occurred mainly towards their desires.
Yeah.
But I mean, for the sake of the movie, it explains it pretty damn well why everything was kind of topsy turvy, I guess. As pointed out, it was like throwing a stone into a body of water and watching the ripples.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What? Are you all saying there's a conspiracy theory that this is the actual ending to Naruto and not the Naruto the Last Crap? No. I mean,
I don't know if
it
it would've
is
been
what
the
he
ending.
wanted to do, right?
No, but as I was watching again today, Road to Ninja, and I'm seeing the whole ripple effect thing, and it brings me back to Boruto, and the ending where they so much changed some characteristics from one character to another, and I was like, dude, that's what happens in the actual freaking Boruto, because Sakura, as an example, now she faints like Hinata always did. And there were some
And now,
other characters, but
and now Hinata has like a
oh,
temper streak and stuff like that.
yeah,
Like, huh?
exactly.
The
Like
kids,
Sakura
yeah.
died, and I'm like, what is this?
Boruto doesn't know
Yeah,
what it wants to do because it keeps switching their personalities. I haven't
Yeah.
obviously kept up with it, but as far as I know, they're now back to their original.
Now, it's
And
a
the,
question. The Road to Ninja poster. This is the first movie poster drawn by Kishimoto, right?
Yeah.
yes.
Well, because I think that's the selling point for the movie is that this is a story by Kishimoto himself.
Yep.
He had a heavy hand in this one, if I remember correctly. He practically ran it.
Yeah. No. Compared to the last, where they say he wrote it, when really they just gave him the script and he was like, "Okay, do that," because people
Well,
want
I
to.
don't have any.
he was very, very implied with everything that happened. He had a deep implication, because I know there was this interview where he said that he was so strict about everything and stuff that he was, making life hard for Studio Pierrot in Road to Ninja, because, so yeah, he was actually very involved with everything.
But he's definitely credited as the original author for the movie. Again, obviously, he didn't like animate or any of that stuff because he's just a straight up artist. But
He did have the
what he
story.
did, yeah, What he did is he did all the character sheets for them to reference. He did
The script?
literally the story itself, and then
He did all the character designs for the opposite.
That's what I said. Yeah, like I said, character sheets for reference.
Oh, my bad.
Yep. Oh, you bad.
Well, I mean, like the clothing designs and everything like that. How are they?
Yeah, I mean, if you
And then he gets to Rock Lee. What's the opposite of Rock Lee? Rock Lee. Rock Lee is Rock
He's
Lee.
the
You can't
same.
do the opposite.
Yeah, but it was Rock
We
Lee
find
with
out
the
what's very
same
different from Rock Lee when we actually get to the bathhouse scene. But hey.
Holy. But yeah, his Menma character design sheet was freaking extra, like really well detailed. In fact, they
It
used it a
was
lot.
Menmarizing.
Yep.
I see what you did there.
I'll see myself out.
Yeah.
I'll pack my stuff.
One of the things about the antagonist of the movie, I believe the last TV spot kind of spoiled the identity of it being not.
Wait,
I don't remember.
in my opinion, I don't think they should have done. But that's the one thing I say. I wish they kept it up like, okay, who is this guy? As opposed to, oh, here's evil Naruto. Like, well, okay.
Oh, that's right, because they
Oh,
had
no.
the QB battle as one of the last TV spots. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was kind of expected, because since we had them all over, like Konoha 11 or 9, or Neji didn't die. No, Neji wasn't dead at that point.
Nope.
It was kind of expected we were to have a opposite of Naruto and Sakura as well, especially since we were talking earlier about Road to Sakura, where we see where Sakura is in all that time. So she gets teleported to the actual Naruto world, while Naruto, Menma is there, and they have that resonance problem because they couldn't be two in one world. So it isn't that bad, in my opinion. Yeah, maybe we could have done it better, but it's not. Plus, if I recall correctly, it's, about when the movie was about to be aired, so it didn't kind of spoiled it from the very beginning. So, yeah, that would be it.
Yeah, one thing that I think the marketing did to least the Nahina and Sakura shippers is made them believe that this was going to be their movie. With like the
I remember that.
Yeah, I do remember that being like a heavy topic at the time, like when the movie was coming out.
Yeah.
And
I think that's kind of why it was like,
And it's funny because they made the exact opposite for, the last. They made it like, oh, look, this is a Naruto movie. Sakura's beauty must surely pick up something in Naruto, and then, what do you know?
The last got ruined by the fact that their art was like freaking like revealed before it even hit theaters. That was weird. Who the hell even hacked it? Because we had Boruto and Himawami?
Desperation, maybe?
We had Burrito and Himalayas.
Yeah. Well, we saw them, and that was dumped before the manga even ended. It was like, how did that art even surface before the manga officially ended?
It's the age of the internet. Nothing is hidden from us anymore.
Yeah.
Well, I knew that, but it's just weird that they would let that out of the bag. So it, like, essentially, ruined the movie because you knew what was going to happen, and then it ruined the manga because, again, you knew what was going to happen. That was weird.
Lucasfilm was pretty good at the fact that, let's see, the breakout character for the Mandalorian turned out to be a miniature version of Yoda.
Yeah.
Well, lucky for us, we know how Boruto the manga is going to end, because it's going to end just like Naruto did, with BS.
Is it going to even end? I mean, it doesn't even know what it's doing anymore.
We got trading cards, lightsabers.
Let's get back to Road to Ninja, anyway.
A friend of mine at work told me that someone he knows that watches it said that apparently, I guess one of the new villains uses a fishing rod to remove Bijus.
That was the suits.
I'm sorry, what?
Was originally going to appear in the Boruto movie, but was cut off.
Yeah, fishing rod.
Yeah, I can find the sketch for you if you want.
That's dumb.
I guess we have something to talk about for the next podcast.
Fishing rod.
Let's just
Anyway.
Yeah.
Fishing rod came from space?
Yes.
Anyway, so regarding the story of Naruto, Road to Ninja.
Yeah.
So our setup basically pretty much starts before the movie even starts, because Kishimoto wrote up a one-shot manga chapter regarding the Konoha 11.
Yeah.
I don't think I read that one.
It's just the bath scene from the movie done in their universe.
And they animated that too into an episode.
Pretty much.
I forget which one they were, but I know it was titled The Road to Ninja Prologue.
Yeah. It's so weird.
There's like 4 Road to Ninja episodes in the anime.
I think so, yeah. Well, didn't they have an Aftermath too? They had an Aftermath episode where it took place in the Road to Ninja universe.
Yeah, but I guess we'll get to that one.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But anywho, so the story begins even before the movie begins with that one-shot chapter. Otherwise, the movie proper begins with the nine
telling,
back. Only this time, you actually know it was the fourth Hokage who did it, whereas before in the anime, it was just some faceless figure.
On Gamabunta, that was it. That's all we knew.
Mhm.
I don't know. I thought that was pretty cool that it used an official scene from the manga itself as a starting point.
Yeah.
Well, you could see
I
actually, yeah.
I think this. Yeah, I think this goes along with the discussion that we had last time of the difference between canon and continuity.
Mhm.
Yes.
You remember this discussion? So for those of you who don't know or listening to us right now, there's canon and then there's continuity. Canon could be something that's like it's approved by the author or made by the author, but it's not part of the continuity of the main storyline. So like you can have like an alternate story or an alternate universe where it's canon to the story, like all the characters are the same power sets and stuff like that. It's made of canon elements, but it's not part of the continuity of the story that we know. This is what I believe Road to Ninja was.
Like Dragon Ball.
Yeah, it contains a lot of elements that are canon to the story to Naruto, but it's not part of the continuity of the story of Naruto. It's kind of like an offshoot of like almost like a what if, I guess you could say.
Well, one example is that Naruto knows both his parents and also Sakura knows about his parents when.
Right, but what I want to. Sorry, but what I mean is like the personality of the characters in one, say like how Naruto's parents' personality is in one. There's no indication that is not the personalities in the main continuity if they were in the story. You see what I mean?
Yeah, but they actually, what was for me, Road to Ninja, at least from what I saw today, they are pretty close to their actual counterparts, but there's this little element. For example, Minato and Kushina, they did seem to, be the same that they were in the actual canon, but the difference is that they weren't that brave. So that was the ripple effect in their story, in their case, because otherwise the story itself, at least in my opinion, for example, how it starts with Naruto asking himself what's really a ninja, and a ninja, it's the one that endures, which is an actual thing that it happens in canon later on.
Yeah.
So somehow it has some sort of continuity with the actual source material, but it's just that those little ripple effects.
Yeah.
It's a mix, actually. It's canon with a bit of continuity, but not 100% because, I mean, Naruto remembers his mother because he remembers the story, when she tells him how they met and all that stuff. So it has...
The problem with...
Yeah.
Well, I was just going to say that the problem with the canonicity or continuity of the matter is the fact that Naruto, by that time, since he's aware of Kushina, he would have been on the island with B. With B. So there's no way that he would have been in Konoha unless something else like in this movie, something would have had to have happened to where him getting the Nine Tails chakra would have somehow the war gets pushed back or something because we know in canon and continuity wise he would have been still fighting because he immediately after getting the Nine Tails chakra eventually learns that there's a war going on outside of his training session. But I'm not even sure this is what James was even talking about in terms of canonicity versus continuity. I think what he was trying to say was that the characters themselves presented in the movie, as in the ones that were the canon characters, Naruto, Sakura, and all the ones from the real universe were displaying their regular personalities. At least that's what I'm taking from it.
Yeah.
If I'm wrong, yeah.
Example, Sakura's parents.
Yeah.
We assume that they are the same type of people both in the Road to the Universe and the regular continuity. Even though we don't see them in the regular continuity, we know they exist because Kishimoto says they exist, and I'm going to assume that's the same personality in both media. And because it is written by Kishimoto, I mean,
Right.
because it is written by Kishimoto, who makes Naruto itself, this is where you can make the difference. So you could say that the Road to Ninja universe is canon. It does exist because Kishimoto made it exist. He made it. It's just not part of the continuity that we've been reading for 15 years.
True that.
It's just like a what if. Okay, well, what if Naota's parents didn't die? What if this was different? What if Hinata's parents were loving? What if this was this? What if it's just like it's okay, if things were a little bit different, how would these characters turn out? And then you can see how like characters could do a complete character shift because of one little, like you said, a ripple effect. If you change one thing in the past, it changes everything. So imagine like a character completely changing. Yeah.
Well, I think it was the idea of just displacing an object in an area that it wasn't originating from. But I mean, the whole idea, I don't even know where I was. I guess it just stems back to. I know we're not really talking about Boruto, but it just seems kind of odd that that you'd think that parents, with how essential they were in Naruto and Naruto Shippuden, but obviously it's just known as Naruto throughout the entire manga, that you would think it'd be essential in Naruto or Boruto, but that's kind of the exact opposite. The only parents we ever see were just the characters that we'd known: Naruto, Sakura, Sasuke, Hinata. We only see them being parents. We don't see their parents.
Yeah.
They probably killed
Are we still
themselves.
talking about the manga thing, or are we at the story bit? Yeah, I'm just curious.
Yeah, we're talking about how the changes, even though Kishimoto wrote it because he said he was doing stuff that he wanted to do but couldn't do in his story. So taking that into consideration, we think, okay, so if he were put it into the story, how many of these elements would be in the actual continuity? And if that's the case, doesn't that make this canon? Because Kishimoto said, this is something I wanted to do but couldn't in the main continuity, so can we take it as like a canon? Like, okay, like this exists within the spectrum of the Naruto continuity, but basically, is this a spectrum? And since now, they decided to add time travel into the damn Naruto story now, whether it be because of Kishimoto or anybody else, why couldn't it be? Why couldn't it just be like, okay, well, this is just a retelling, sort of like a rebuild of Evangelion? We had the original story, but then Hideki Anno came back and is doing a redo, and he says, well, this is what could have happened. This is another retelling of the story. That's what I take Road to Ninja as. It's a retelling of the Naruto story of what could have been.
So basically, the setup is, well, Sakura feels rather embarrassed by the fact that her parents are, well, a bit of a goof, especially her dad with his constant puns, and her mom not helping matters in the fact that she's
being a mother.
Naruto, as always, kind of feels like an outcast for having no parents whatsoever.
You're kind of skipping ahead there.
And of course, this all comes to a head when Naruto pays the. And of course, this all comes to a head when Naruto pays a visit to Sakura.
You're kind of forgetting that, let's see, before that, you had the K11 Naruto fighting what appear to be dead members of the Akatsuki Saigon.
That's part of the
did the notes?
The Wikipedia page says this happened first, though.
But I did say that you might have been skipping ahead because the whole setup for their parents even being involved was their defeating of the Akatsuki, which sparked.
Yeah, but you could sort of lump that into the conflict. Basically, Madara tests them out. Then
they don't know that it's Madara, though.
Hey, Toby is a good boy.
You mean Obito?
Toby is a good boy. Well, no, they do know it's Madara, but I mean, they don't know that it was Madara that brought forth all the Akatsuki members to attack them. They did, however, mention that it was odd.
I guess. But even so, within that universe, who else could it have been?
It
There's
just
only
felt
one
it was
other
odd.
person.
Yeah.
The ramen stand guy. I knew he
Right.
was the villain the entire time.
Well, they were just shocked when Madara attacks them, and I'm skipping ahead there, so we'll save that for when we get to that part. But I mean, the whole setup obviously is that everyone's parents is discussing making them Jonin, and Naruto not having parents feels like he's being left behind at the same time. So, I mean, it sparks off the fact that, again, in contraction, even though Sakura has parents, they feel like her lack of responsibility shouldn't reward her with the level of Jonin. But we come to the first part of the plot that kind of feels a little weird to me in the Ichiraku ramen bar scene with Iruka and Naruto.
Yeah.
And I just feel like the off-putting part is that Iruka thinks that Naruto's complaining about not being able to, because he feels that he can.
Sorry.
Oh no! I mean, anyone can jump in whenever they feel like it. If I'm just describing the movie from moviness.
Iruka thinks Naruto's complaining the fact that he wants to become a Jonin, even though he's not a Chunin yet. Let's see. One thing I wanted to kind of quickly mention about the Akatsuki thing, I kind of like how you get all these random matchups that you wouldn't see in the manga, such as 10-10 versus Hidan along with Neji, Guy and Lee versus Kizumi and Tachi, Kiba and Shino versus Pain, Hinata versus
Though we
Tomo,
did have Kisame and
Kashi versus Dedera and Sasori. So I just wanted to mention that quickly.
Well, it's stuff he wanted to do but couldn't.
All the stuff.
Actually,
yeah, but we could. Didn't we have Guy with Kisame?
Yeah, Guy and Lee
It
both
actually
took on
happened in the
Kasami
manga.
at the same time, but
Like a boss.
thing is we don't really see them fend off other than their initial clashes. They just kind of disappear the minute Naruto and Sakura and Kakashi and Sai all come together.
They disappear once. Let's see, the fake Kakuzu puts them
Gets
on.
his arm, yeah,
Yeah.
by Sai, yeah. Arm.
Sorry.
And
We were at, let's see, the Iruka and Naruto complaining, and then afterwards, Sakura takes Naruto on a date after arguing with her parents again. I think that's
We're rushing forward. I mean, because the whole argument was kind of weird in itself. The Iruka and Naruto fighting
And what were they fighting about?
over the Jonin level, but they were also fighting because then he brings up like his father had to work his way up to Hokage, and I don't know if we ever really found out if that's true or not.
Well, I don't know.
Aruka Sensei, can I be a Jonin? Why don't you ask your parents, Naruto? You're a.
They're rocks. They're rocks. That's not fair.
Differences from like the canon and the non-canon, because they never really made it clear if the elder ninja in the village all knew that Naruto was Minato's son, but this is the first time we get a hint of someone from the village mentioning that Naruto's father was Minato. But hey, go on.
We all
thing
knew
that was
it.
weird is because they mentioned that Naruto's the hero of the village for defeating Pain, and that, but that somehow doesn't constitute him being worthy of becoming a Jonin.
I don't know. Ninja ranking in Naruto is weird.
It is, but I mean, I think
I guess in a way, if you were to place it somewhere within the timeline, you could technically say it's after Pain, make some minor tweaks here and there, but you know.
Well, he knows who B is too, because he comments about that later on in the movie. So it's definitely still even further beyond the Pain battle.
Which is weird because we kind of go back, with his memory of Kushina, actually, telling him the story.
Yeah.
So if it were something that happened between him getting the QB and the war, it would be, let's say that, I don't know, they find that, Akatsuki, though they're supposed to be dead, they come back to the village, but I don't know, it's weird.
It'd be weird.
If you want to know why I think their argument's weird, it's because you know that Naruto, even without having officially like met his parents in the flesh, probably wouldn't have been like terribly upset over something like that. But at the same time, if Iruka would have almost assuredly caught on at some point during that discussion that Naruto was, if he was like trying to like once he kind of starts to bad talk his parents, you'd think that that would have been a hint that okay, maybe he's upset about not knowing his parents or not.
Well, remember, we're doing a plot about Naruto being upset about his parents, and then we're having a plot of Sakura being angry at her parents. But yeah,
Yeah. But the thing is,
as soon as Naruto kind of runs off, let's see, encounters Sakura and mad at her parents, she says to Naruto, "We're going on a date," which results in them, let's see, just hanging out in the park, where Sakura sounds a bit like her part one self in a sense, where, let's see, she gets a bit mad at Naruto for seems to be taking their side due to the fact that Naruto knows what it's like to not have parents. She kind of says, you should be a bit more grateful and that stuff. And
then she turns into a total dick and says, "You're lucky not to have any parents, and only Sasuke would understand what I'm going through."
Well, the scene was that
Sakura and Sasuke scolds her for this very mindset. Okay.
The scene wasn't necessarily that Naruto was taking their side. He was just thinking that she was being too harsh on her parents because they only want the best for her, and obviously she wasn't in the right state of mind to know that. And she's like, she doesn't really tell him that. She doesn't disregard him being there, but she does say that only Sasuke would understand, knowing the whole parents thing, which Naruto kind of has that revelation sort of before Madara attacks. But
oh yeah, and this is the only time in the entire Naruto franchise we see Sakura use the high jump kick. Never seen in the manga.
Yeah, well, it's not that like she couldn't do it. She used chakra enhancement ever since part 1. I don't know if people actually noticed that thing, because in the battle with Ino, that's what she does. She speeds up herself by, concentrating her whole chakra in her feet. I don't know if anyone noticed that, but yeah. I don't know, I found weird the whole thing with Sasuke, not necessarily because of the parents thing, but she put it like, he would get that she's mad at her parents, but then again we never see Sasuke being scolded by his parents. Like, from where would he understand,
I think the only thing we knew for a fact was his father was really
strict.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, we don't really know too much about Sasuke's mom. That's the one thing I'll say.
His mom, what we did know is that she would always be, I guess, his confidant or whatever whenever his father scolded him for not doing something properly or whatnot. I guess it was just because Itachi was held in higher regards for being able to do shit at the age that Sasuke was at. Itachi was already more. That is what the ending absolutely screws up, but still.
Aren't you all forgetting something?
What's that?
That Sasuke's mom and Kushina were friends?
They were.
Yeah.
That is important to note. Yeah, they were friends.
But that pretty much was just probably another one of Kishimoto's ways of making Naruto and Sasuke's rivalry destiny and stuff. But hey, anyway, Madara ends up teleporting them to the Road to Ninja universe, in which Naruto and Sakura, sorry, ends up encountering Team 8, in which Hinata gets very threatening with Sakura. She spooks her out. Akamaru and Kiba are arguing, and Shino hates bugs.
Thank you, Mr. Wikipedia.
Well, we didn't know about that early. All we knew is that, they speculated that they were on a date. Naruto and Sakura say otherwise. But they try and get their help because of Madara's attack, only to have them all ask, like, who the heck Madara? Who's Madara?
And then, after wandering around for a bit, they run into more of the Road to Ninja versions of their friends, where Shikamaru is dumb, Choji is smart, Ino is somewhat timid.
Ino is what you'd call.
I have to admit, it's very weird seeing them all act like that. I will admit.
It was refreshing.
Yeah. Choji was kind of cool. I'll say that.
I have to say, Ino was a better best friend to Sakura in the Road to Ninja than she was in. And
Yeah,
we'll get to this one a little bit later down the road after we get towards the end of the series. But keep that one in the back of your mind.
They get invited to have lunch or dinner or whatever the hell it was, only for the next scene to be them all in the bathhouse.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and the first
And
only ever insult at Sakura's chest is from Hinata.
Yeah.
oh, and we also find out that Neji is a complete pervert willing to peep on his cousin of all people.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's see, Japan. Yeah, that's Japan. You're being naughty there.
Well, that's the Hyuga way, isn't it? They're a bunch of inbreeders.
The Neji Hina fans were excited.
They were like, "Oh my, yes, give us more of that." That's what they were thinking.
Granted, I think we saw more male butts in that than
Ooh.
Yes,
Hey.
yes, double standards.
No one here can't say that if they had that power, they wouldn't do it. Oh, look, the girl's bathroom. Byakugan!
But what would you really see anyway? That's what I'm
Lead.
curious. He's just seeing chakra networks. He's not seeing,
Although
their naked selves.
Although that does make me question about how this society builds up those kind of protections in a bathhouse. I mean, you have people that can disappear. You can have them transform into stuff. You can have them do how do you stop the perverts from getting in there?
I thought the Byakugan also just had X-rays. Eventually, you could see through some crap or whatever. I don't know. Maybe that was an anime-only thing.
Yes, is the fear of being beaten to death by someone like Tsunade or Sakura if you get caught.
Well, I guess that's what all the girls eventually learn how to do: beat people down in bathhouses.
Yep.
But yeah, so then Rock Lee pops in, and everyone but Naruto and Sakura try and accuse him of peeping into the women's bathhouse. And he's like, "No, I swear."
I'm innocent.
And then his jumpsuit gets torn, and he's wearing Tenten's underwear.
I remember I was watching that scene, and I was like,
"Not Lee too, not Lee."
I think in the sub version, Sakura's saying, "Lee's a pervert." But I don't know. At least the sub I watched.
Just imagine Rock Lee. What? They give me great support.
So there we learn. I think it's during that scene, sometime within that scene, that Naruto learns that he's Menma in that universe.
Yeah.
Then
Actually, he learns with Ino because
the one that addresses that.
Well, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
After the end of that, because because then after that scene, you have Naruto and Sakura talk about doing recon, and she starts calling him Menma. Doesn't leave him all warm and fuzzy.
and he tries to go.
Like
to
a girlfriend teasing a boyfriend with a nickname that you got that they do not like.
Yep.
You're gonna call me that too? Okay.
So she learns that she's a hero, and Naruto learns that he has no house.
At least
Yeah.
not the one he knew. And he gets a couch in his head.
Which brings me to some of the more, well, I guess we'll discuss this later on, but this limited Tsukuyomi has got some issues when you really get down to it, but I'll save that for later on.
Yeah.
But so Naruto ends up sleeping outside, and Sakura gets to learn that
We'll get to the in her house, yeah.
and also that
All alone.
and also
She can
that
do what she wants.
Sasuke, yep,
Yeah.
and that Sasuke seems to care for her.
In the morning, anyway. In the
Yeah.
morning, when he drops by.
I will always be here for you.
Tries to tuxedo match that shit.
Let's see. And we end up seeing what Sakura wears in her pajamas for a bit of fan service, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Oh, yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Sure.
If you consider that fan service, then
Well, everyone loves a midriff, don't they?
Also doing that.
well, yeah, I do, but like when it's a frickin' bikini, not whatever
When
frilly
it's
thing whatever frilly thing that was.
really top
Like
and
Karen.
bottoms.
Remember Karen's PJs?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
What?
This is the scene where like Sasuke hits on Sakura, but then he goes and hits on another girl, right? Like right in front
No,
of
that's
her.
later in the
Well,
no,
that's
that's,
later on.
that's towards the end.
So then they find out that Tsunade's still the Hokage, which thankfully for them is one of the only consistent things about the universe, because as soon as they tell her all about the masked man, she goes and confirms, yes, there is a masked man running around stealing Kake Genkai.
Carrot can pies.
They obviously just assume that it's Madara, but by a different name.
Yeah.
There's one
Yeah.
character that a lot of people don't mention, and it's Tauntaun. And he has a change of skin color. That's the only thing.
Yep.
Yeah, and the one difference with Tsunade's wearing glasses and is flat-chested, while Shizune is the one with the large chest, I guess, or the Tsunade chest size.
Yeah, but
That's the
I
differences you
think
get.
They don't exactly point that out, but it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Only BlueStar.
Yes.
Blue Star.
I don't care.
So,
I just thought I'd just point out the differences from, like, you know.
You heard it here, folks. BlueStar is a tits man.
He is.
so Naruto, being Naruto, requests to go on a mission only for Tsunade to say, no, you're much too inexperienced. Oh,
Which-
yes.
At which point his parents pop in. What's
Yep.
going on here?
yeah,
Mommy?
now it's like,
Daddy?
you're upset.
Mom? Dad?
It's a Harry Potter moment here.
Oh, hey, Menma, why does your hair look different?
but
Oops,
no,
spoiler alert.
Actually, no, it's still blonde in that universe.
Yeah.
It's-
Technically.
exactly.
I guess, but
Influence of, let's see, Toby Madara corrupting it.
It wasn't just that, but either way, yeah, we get Minato and Kushina both recommending that Naruto and Sakura should be going on the mission with them. Only for Naruto and Sakura after that to discuss that Madara is playing really dirty by having his parents revived in this universe.
Is that the scene I'm thinking of? The bombshell scene?
Bombshell?
No, that's later on.
Okay.
They're in an alley when they discuss it because Naruto is all upset about them being alive in this universe.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm getting confused.
Like even Sakura says that was kind of shocking.
Okay, let's see. Pretty much, just to make it clear for you, James, let's see. Naruto and Sakura are talking to the Hokage. Then
Yeah.
his parents come. Naruto refuses to acknowledge them as his parents. And then they're trying to plan their next move. Let's see, but first we have a scene where Naruto is being barraged in his room. And Kishina's getting mad because he's not going to dinner. And then we get a touching scene of Naruto looking at a family album with him and his parents. And then we're going off to the next mission.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah,
I
but
forgot
that's
about
the
that one
first
scene in the
time-
middle.
That one
That's
scene.
the actual first time when he warms up to them, to the whole idea of actually being their son.
Yep.
There.
Naruto the moody teenager.
Oh yes.
And he gets
Yeah,
asked,
Go away, you're not real. Like,
You're gonna come in,
no,
you're
no,
gonna right?
this is a legitimate, he could legitimately say, go away, you're not my real parents.
I think he somewhat mentioned that in a way, and they were just thinking that he was rebellious.
Yeah.
Menma, this is your mother. I'm respecting your privacy by knocking, but gonna assert my authority as your parent by coming in anyway.
You're coming to
You're
dinner.
gonna eat, right? Right? And he's like, oh yeah, I am. And then, Minato asks him about if he had a fight with Sakura, and that's the reason he's being so moody.
Yeah. You have a fight with the hero's daughter?
Teenage life. At a time.
It's this version of Minato and Kishina wants Naruto to pair up with Sakura.
Well, Kushina
I think both.
Kushina more so than Minato, but yeah.
Yeah, Kushina more so. But
I think both wanted them.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they both
Oh,
do.
Kushina just jokes.
Kushina's more the outward one.
That's how, if he had a fight with Sakura.
Yeah. Well, then when they go on their mission and meet Guy and Kakashi, only to be like, "Yep, this is definitely a parallel universe
Guy
or
was forever.
alternate universe."
Tired. I can't do anything. Nonsense. We got full energy. Total roller reversal.
I'm an old man, is what he
Listen-
I think is what he said.
Yeah, essentially, Guy is Eeyore.
Yeah.
He is.
Oh,
Nobody likes me.
my youth is ended. I'm not
Although-
as youth.
That's
although,
you know.
although Kakashi's personality changed, kind of, sort of.
Drastically.
I don't know. It's like it's there for the fan servicey bits, but otherwise, on the mission itself, he acts completely normal.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that he overuses his Sharingan
Well, that,
somehow. I don't know how he did that.
Dumb.
How did he overdo that? We never really even see how he overdid it.
In many ways, you could say the movie's just trying to nerf Kakashi.
No, but
So
I
enough
think
against the Sharingan, which
he didn't have his Sharingan covered. Isn't that right? Because he
I don't-
wanted to not overuse it. He would
I don't know.
keep it covered, and I think, if I recall correctly, he didn't have it covered, and he covered it right before, them going to get the Crimson Moon book.
The scroll, the Jiraiya hid.
Yeah.
The Jiraiya somehow lost the pasty ass puppet guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jiraiya died protecting that scroll.
showing let's see, the three big toads, and let's see, Boss Kabuto and those other two were there during the pain fight, as well as a lot of fillerish toads, including one I think appeared in the anime filler Three Tails arc.
You have Naruto somehow setting the trap off, then you have Naruto trying to go into access Sage mode, only to get flung, only to try and access Sage mode again, while in the air, only to have Gamuta spit some acid.
No, it's not acid, it's toxin.
Either way, that's when Naruto starts warming up to the idea of his parents, because Kushina, I guess, saves him. Saves, in quotes, because I don't think he really needed saving there, but I'll go into further detail about that later.
it's there for the emotional moments.
Yeah. So then you have Minato being Minato.
And getting the job done, basically.
And using his flying Thunder God technique. Yeah. And then somehow comments how only him and Jiraiya would have been able to break the seal. And then we get the scroll, and then we get some weird bank vault thing inside a prison.
Well, before that, you get Minato slapping Naruto for being reckless, but then saying that we and your mother talked about, giving you promotions to Jonin, and you get hugging Naruto, and Naruto finally starts accepting this reality a bit. Or at least this reality's version of his parents. Anyway, then we get to the vault. Anyway, this is where we finally see Sakura starting to get down about the fact that she has no parents, starting to understand maybe this is how Naruto feels.
Well, she's alone.
And she goes out a bit for the village, and only to find Sasuke, only to find he's a massive playboy who uses females' feelings just to get a lot of attention. Which
Don't forget.
breaks her heart. Sorry, what?
I was just going to say, don't forget that the rose was actually focused on a couple times. That he gave her.
Was withering and dying away.
Yeah. Can't forget that. That was symbolism. Symbolism!
Symbolism.
Yeah.
Biased.
Or it was supposed to be.
Yeah, boy, word up.
Never in the end, symbolism counted in Naruto.
Sakura runs off, upset, trying to go to Naruto. Witsuhi wants to apologize to him, but only to find he's really enjoying spending time with Kushina and Minato. So she leaves them to it, and then she struggles about whether or not to leave this universe if it means Naruto that Naruto will not be spending time with his parents. But granted, before that, let's see,
They had a meeting.
Discussion
Yeah.
about whether or not he's enjoying this universe. And
Well, they asked if he wants to stay or not, and he talks about he's got to get somewhere. He's got to be somewhere, only for an explosion to take place off in the distance.
Yeah, and it feels that the masked man of this universe is attacking the leaf with his masked fox puppets, I believe. Yeah. But he easily defeating the leaf ninja there and then causing a massive explosion in a similar manner to the Pain invasion arc. What Pain did. Kidnaps Sakura, and then receives ransoms, let's say her for the Red Scroll. Naruto tries to rush to go and save her, but his parents won't allow it as they do not want him to die. And this makes Naruto realize, but also seeing the bag that Sakura dropped with the fourth Hokage's robes in it. Let's do that. While these are his parents, while these people look and sound like his parents, they're not his real parents, as they were heroes who died for the village. And he realizes how important that was, ends up telling them this, and then he goes off to save Sakura, now donning the fourth Hokage's robes.
Which was a really nice scene.
It was.
Yeah.
It was.
Oh yeah.
And that was also, I should mention, interspersed with like a couple of homages to the manga chapter titles. For instance, there's one where it's Naruto's running out the window with a piece of toast in his mouth, and Kushina's holding a spatula and frying pan, yelling at him, and Minato's just reading a newspaper, kind of snickering in the background.
Yeah. He has those memories about what his mother told him, in the training, when she says that if I were to have, if I were to live and whatnot, how life would look. That's why I'm saying, because it's kind of weird. It's between Pain arc and the start of the war.
Symbolism.
Yep.
And we got a lot of parallels of how Minato and Kushina were in their past.
Yep.
Reflected in the Narasaku in this one.
No.
Well, it's just Naruto homaging.
Is how Sakura chained up in a cinema man that Kishina was when she was kidnapped by Toby.
Yeah.
So yeah.
More Tobys, because Toby reveals himself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or Madara in this case. Madara reveals himself to Sakura.
I do have to say though that Toby's Rasengan attack was pretty boss.
It was.
Mine was.
He drops this mini purple ball and then it just explodes massively. I'm like, that's pretty bad.
But it doesn't kill anyone in that radius.
Well, it's never really revealed. I mean, it kind of just leaves it out, to be honest.
We know it doesn't kill anyone because he used it on Naruto and Minato and all of them, and they're all still alive.
It's not about murder, it's about sending a message. Everything's flattened.
For you, big explosions that would see the size of nuclear blasts, but doesn't kill anyone.
It kills the non-important people, because eventually we learn that Tsunade hires the Akatsuki, who are mercenaries.
Look at all these red shirts all over the place. Put these here.
Naruto arrives and fights the masked man.
How did you get there so quickly?
Who take on all the sort of puppet fox things, revealed to be dead foxes, and eventually during the fight, it's revealed that the masked man is the member or Naruto of this universe.
Dun dun dun.
Whoa.
What? What a twist!
I'll say this much for the movie: both in the English and Japanese dubs, they don't, with the voice anyway. Usually in a mediocre, in a mediocre movie, if you were trying to make a masked character somehow be tangentially related to the main character by relation or clone or what have you, usually they'd more or less sound the same. Yeah. But in both the English and Japanese dubs of the movie, his voice is noticeably more different than Naruto's is, which helps the twist, I think.
Yeah, it was a more darker version, because I think it's the same. Isn't Junko also voice acting Menma?
Let me see.
Well, they both do. Yeah, they both still voice act. I think that's the same no matter what in every version, either sub or dub.
Yeah, she does voice Menma too. I just looked it up.
That's
Because
what I'm saying.
Goku's voice actress also does.
But it's like more, how should I say it, darkened version, because he's a dark version of Naruto now.
Yeah.
Well, they're usually good at doing lower tone voice. That's what Goku's person did for Goku Black, which many people actually feel Goku Black was a lot better in the sub because of that.
Yeah.
Like
But anyway-
her Goku Black is actually pretty damn good. But yeah.
But
And they
anyway,
have
so
Junko, though.
Anyway, we get a massive Ninetales versus Ninetales battle. And after that, let's see, Mardo possesses Memma and then starts
Let
to
it be.
Naruto, and then let's see, traps him, and it's revealed that he's actually been used this entire time as a way of trying to extract the Ninetales from Naruto. But let's see, gets saved by Sakura interrupting, briefly battling Memma, and then Naruto snaps out of it, and then does the finishing move with Minato did on Toby in the actual manga. And Toby
Sounds like Spark Notes there, sir.
Memma's body. Sorry, what? Am I missing a few things?
I said sound. Well, yeah, I was just going to say that first off, let it be known that Naruto was going to use Tailed Beast Mode, but the Nine-Tailed Fox said it wouldn't have worked, so that's why he went all Nine-Tailed mode on him. And then even before that, it was the only reason Naruto got put out of commission was because he briefly looked into Madara's eyes, which mind wiped him.
Yeah.
The Akatsuki weren't actually going to get involved. I don't know how Sakura got away. I think it just happened because I know Itachi was keeping an eye on her that whole fight.
Pay grade, you know? They weren't paid.
Yeah. Oop. So either way, yes, she does come, and then we get the Red Moon Scroll, or Crimson, whatever you want to call it. I know it was the Red Moon Scroll in the dub, but yeah, Naruto just looks at that scroll, remembers the Rasengan, and
Remembers who he is.
yep. Then we get the last homage, which even Madara pays notice to. I haven't been hit by a Rasengan in years.
Well, during the fight, you had Minato and Kaneshina arriving, and once Mardo and Toby is like out of Memma's body, Memma reverts back to normal, and they reunite with their son. And this is where Sakura and Naruto start disappearing from this world. But then Naruto has a sort of heartfelt, sort of like speech about the time he spent with them, thanking them for giving him the idea of what it's like to have a mother and father around. And then they disappear. And then they're back where they started. They briefly go to report to Tsunade about what happened. Let's see. Also, one thing we kind of probably left out is it's revealed that all those dead members of the Akatsuki were white Zetsus. And after examination, Tsunade cancels the promotions to Jonin. Sorry, you were about to say something, chat?
Yeah, you skipped a very important scene. And that is Sakura and her parents, because if you recall, when they get back, Sakura's parents were searching for her.
They were.
And they had that whole emotional scene. Because they go the second day to give the report to Tsunade about the whole thing. But before that, Sakura meets them and tells them she's sorry because she realizes how much she missed them in the other world and whatnot. And then Naruto tries to go on a date with her, and she's like, well, weren't we already in one?
We just went through a date?
Yeah.
Now there's one thing about this. Neither the parents object to the idea of Naruto and Sakura dating.
And two didn't know that it was a date.
I mean, the only reason it was considered a date was because at the very start, and that's what I ended up catching on to, was the fact that even though this was a dream the whole time, that was still the same date that they had went on before getting trapped.
I hate to see a marriage.
Well, even Naruto's like, you considered that a date?
And then Naruto goes home and finds that Aruka's waiting for him with a cake.
And then the movie ends with Naruto giving a speech about a ninja and Ichiraku cancelling Memma from the menu.
Yes.
And then you get the song in the credits.
Yep.
You have some nice promotional art too from that final scene in the Blu-ray DVD set, which just has Naruto escaping with the cake.
Oh, yeah, that one.
So, anywho, this movie, overall, it's an enjoyable experience. It's not necessarily bad, but there are some things when you just get right down to it, like the Road to Ninja universe kind of sort of, just kind of sort of leaves you hanging with a couple of questions. For instance, so the Road to Ninja universe seems to imply that Menma's been kidnapping, Keke Genkai for a while now. So what were his parents thinking?
Steve, I believe according to the Lucky this podcast, we're supposed to talk about the character's journey of Naruto and Sakura next.
It's an open discussion too.
The open discussion of openness. Well, I mean, it's implied that they don't. I don't know what they thought he was doing, because when they saw Naruto, they were like, "Oh, hey!"
And they were like,
So he must have been doing it in secret somehow. Yeah.
Yeah, in secret, but
I don't know how.
How is the thing? Also, Sakura's parents. So did her dad learn the jutsu to seal away the nine-tailed fox all by himself, or did he have help? Give me some resolution on that movie, because
well, we don't even know if he sealed the fox.
A Road to Sakura episode, instead of having the nine-tailed fox incident, instead it seems to be just a general incident of an invasion of the village, with Sakura's parents going out to face them, because at this time Sakura's a child.
Yeah, but it's not very clear what exactly they can do,
Yeah.
What's their role? What's their skill?
Their role was just being heroes and dying.
Also, if Naruto's parents are still alive, why is Tsunade the Hokage? I mean, you would think,
they weren't, Well, in this case, it was because they weren't the level of which they were in the real world. First off,
there is a point where there is a time where Minato makes this point that they're not strong enough or skilled enough to go up with Sakura and
still here, by the way.
He's still here.
He just flummoxed because we had no idea what we're talking about.
No, don't worry, I'm still here.
Yeah, we see you.
I never heard you comment once during the entire story talk.
No, I was just listening because I forgot everything, and well, I was wondering, is that a good thing because I forgot everything about Naruto, or is that a bad thing because my memory is going away?
Well,
for Chatte, it might not be good. But anyway, the whole I think the reason that they're not. It's not that they couldn't be heroes in that world. It's that they just valued their life more than those around them. They just valued their lives and their son lives more than willing to sacrifice it. That's why he wasn't Hokage in that universe. Which is why Tsunade still is, which would mean that the third Hokage still died doing something.
You could just. It's easy to write something in there. You could assume that Minato was best friends with Sakura's father. Could have saw him die along with the mother and decided that he wanted to spend more time with the family than be a Hokage.
Yeah, you could have thrown it in there, sure.
But
I don't think it was a big issue to worry about in their thought process, which is why it wasn't really a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Although I will say, does anybody notice that Sakura's entire manga development kind of occurred within this movie? Okay, she starts out as part one herself, and then she sees Naruto suffering, and then she becomes more sympathetic, and then it...
Yeah.
I didn't know. I didn't notice that.
Almost kind of like they just, Kishimoto just crunched it. Like, this is how he actually wanted Sakura to be developed wise as a character, and he just crunched it within an hour and a half, 2 hour movie.
Yeah.
It's like an hour and 20 minutes or
things
something.
it couldn't do in the manga.
50 minutes, sorry.
Hour 50. It's a 109-minute movie.
Wait, hold on, let me. I don't know, it's now in 50 minutes when I saw on YouTube.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, never mind. I don't know what I was thinking.
Yeah.
60 minutes is an hour, so 40 extra minutes plus the
Yeah.
6. So yeah, it's about almost a 2-hour movie.
Yeah, but because I keep thinking about what Kishimoto said was about he doing things that he couldn't do in the manga, and I was like, I wonder, like, is he expressing that this is what he was planning the entire time, and this is what he couldn't do, or this is what he wanted to do, and they wouldn't let him do it? It's one of those those words kind of ring in my mind every time I watch this movie.
That's the same thing with me too. And it's like what Chad said too. I think you mentioned that like he was kind of strict when it came to like the story elements of Road to Ninja. So that kind of gets me wondering about that too. That maybe this is what he set out.
It would kind of go hand in hand with the there were rumors back when Naruto ended that there were some editors or something like that they kind of
Yeah.
really pushed Hinata forward because they were hating Sakura and wouldn't allow her to be more, let's say, better treated, I guess. I don't know. It's a whole like James said earlier, those words kind of keep ringing. What does that mean? I mean, it has so many perspectives you can look at. And I was wondering today, years later, if that would have, was kind of like his way to say that, this is the way he would have liked the story to end, but couldn't. Maybe back then he knew how the story is gonna end. Who knows? It's really hard to tell, though.
And there was a scene that he wrote for the ending that didn't get made into it.
What do you mean, the movie?
Yeah.
Which is?
That they actually go on another date.
They do?
There was a scene
Like a
for
real
that?
one.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Let's see. I heard about how in the novel for Blood Prison, the movie before this one, is that you had Sakura distraught over Naruto possibly dying, but let's see. But I did not hear about this for Road to Ninja.
Yeah.
Wicked, shut up.
No, I swear to God,
Wait, let him speak.
No, I swear to God, there's this interview that I remember reading where Kishimoto said there was a scene that he wanted to write at the end of Road to Ninja, but they didn't put it in.
Oh.
Wait, he
Where
wanted
Naruto watching Sakura be with her parents, he was going to walk up and go, "Yeah, you want to go on another date sometime?" And she goes, "Sure." And that was supposed to be the ending.
That's sweet.
And they were like, and she
I
was
mean,
like,
they
"Sure, but
sorta
it'd be
did
better,
that,
but we better
they
go out
switched it.
somewhere better this time, or something coy like that." And I remember seeing. I have to find it again. I have to go through my files that I have, but I remember reading about that.
You have to bring proof before us before you make shit. No.
And then Lucky Chi'll link it into the description box.
Yeah.
If we have it, yeah. You
I'll see
better
if I can
find
find
it,
it.
because if you don't find it, then you just totally
Made it
set
up.
them.
Oh, what
yeah,
are you gonna
totally.
do? Throw a fan fiction at me? Hey, fans, how are those light novels doing for you?
I have yet to
Are
find
they
a good
canon
one.
or not canon?
I have yet to find a good Narusaku fanfic in the last 3 or 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Then you haven't been reading Tokai stuff.
Shut up! That's probably true, but still.
So yeah, Naruto's journey in the movie here.
So that brings us over to the character's journey. And
The hero's journey.
Kinda. I mean, it's more or less.
The emotional
it's an
hero's
emotional journey. Yeah.
It's,
I don't know. It's less of a journey and just more of a.
with him, it's coming to terms with the fact that while his parents may be dead, that what they represent is something that'll never die down.
Yeah.
Except it does when it comes to the ending.
Shut up! It's July of 2012. We're about 2 years away from
July
that
2012. What? The whole idea was that they were heroes and that they died for a better cause. I think that's what the whole thing was. But
Poor Neji.
poor Neji, indeed. If you think
Poor
about it,
Neji,
that was
why?
He didn't deserve
see, you
to die.
forgot, and that's a good thing.
No. I mean, poor Neji, how? I mean, he died. He got saved from the crap.
Yeah,
Like
but
you
he
said.
died to bring Naruhina together because he was the Cupid.
No one knows this for sure. I mean, there's been multiple things about that.
No, Kishi said that.
No, he
I know.
Yeah,
he
Kishi actually
that,
said
but
that.
I know he said that, but I'm just saying that he's also said a lot of other things too. So what does it even matter at this point?
Which is why I always say take his interviews with a grain of salt.
It's like Toriyama always forgetting crap somehow.
Yeah, but at least Toriyama admits it.
I don't even know if Toriyama admits it.
No, Toriyama admitted at one point that he forgets everything.
That's so weird. He's only like 60. How is he forgetting shit?
When he was writing Battle of Gods, he had to actually reread the manga.
I know.
Yeah. I think he said he forgot how powerful Super Saiyan 3 was.
No, he said that he thought Super Saiyan 3 was Super Saiyan 2.
Oh, God.
Point is, he forgot.
Yeah, he thought 17. He thought 18 had white hair.
And of course, Sakura's journey in the movie is a typical. Here's what you wanted. Now let's see what let's see how you feel about it.
Careful what
Like
you want.
James said, that seems like Kishimoto did the entire Sakura story and crunched into one movie, or what he wanted the conclusion of that story to be.
Well, that too, but it goes in conjunction with, well, I wish I didn't have parents. Yay, I don't have parents. You know what? It kind of sucks not having parents. I want to go home.
I want to go home. I want to go home.
Nailed it.
Can I just say something? One thing that I found interesting, I was watching a YouTube reviewer at the time during the Naruto years, reviewing this movie. Apparently, one of the complaints he had about this movie was because the fact that Naruto went on a journey with Sakura instead of someone like Hinata or Sasuke.
Yes, we've all seen For Neverworld's videos.
Let's see. Well, from what I can tell, For Neverworld actually said that Sakura actually did something in the plot, but that's For Neverworld. But anyway, one thing I think you've probably got some fans complaining, particularly probably Naruhina and Saku shippers, is like, why is this a Naru-Saku journey? But I think the reason why Sakura was picked because of all the cast Naruto, she's the one with the most, is like what is regarded as the most normal. The one that
because she's the main heroine?
Yeah, that's what she is.
That's literally it. That's her
She's
answer.
literally been in all the other previous movies.
Yeah,
the first 3 original and the first 5 of Shippuden.
Yeah,
So I mentioned the numbers again.
But anyway,
And how many movies has Hinata been in? 4.
Well, technically 1. I mean, if you're not counting, now 2.
It's Bond's Inheritance of the Willfire, this movie, and the last.
Okay, well, how many movies has she made an actual impact in?
1.
1, yeah.
Just the one.
I was talking, from a standpoint of movies.
See, I think the reason why, of course, we have Sakura in this movie is because, since she's the one that has a normal life first, then experiences what it's like not to have parents. She's the one that's able to snap Naruto back out of it, of like, let's see my real world. These aren't my real parents. I need to go save her. Something like that.
If you want an even simpler version or a simpler answer to your thing, it's their teammates. It's literally, it's that simple. They're teammates. I mean, I don't know what else anyone would have been thinking around 2012.
Well, remember, Naruto did have one of the most brutal shipping wars there ever was.
Yeah, it's still going.
Well, as far as in the age of the internet, for all we know, there could have been massive Goku Bulma, Goku Chi-Chi shippers back in the 80s and 90s.
Imagine if the original trilogy came out during the time of the internet and you had like Luke and Leia shippers versus Han and Leia shippers.
That was only 2 movies before that was retcon.
Yeah, it was only 2.
But yeah, but I don't know. I just remember some comments in Marvel Comics from Luke and Lesh saying, "Oh, you're not giving enough development for these two." But anyway, moving on.
To be honest, I don't even know if there's been any shipping beyond the Naruto shipping. I mean, I've never really witnessed beyond that.
There's tons.
Well, it's just
I mean, there might be tons, but I mean, I don't ever see it as big as that because I mean, it was all over frickin' Tumblr when Tumblr was a thing.
You never saw the Avatar shipping wars?
Yeah, dude.
Oh.
Zutara versus Katang.
Oh, yeah,
I mean, it got so
right.
bad that the writers themselves had to debunk it.
I know.
And it got
like in
even
an
worse.
episode.
And it got even worse with Legend of Korra. Well, okay, so we'll have Korra end up with
with anyone.
Korra's a guy. Let's just say that.
Korra's a guy.
They just put everybody on a dartboard and just throw a dart at it, and whoever landed on, there you go.
That's how we end it. There we go.
I think Korra is a sense the first Ritzy series, animated series to do a sort of LGBT couple towards the series finale.
Cough, cough, Sailor Moon, cough, cough.
Cough.
I'm talking about Western shows.
But how is it a Western? Well, whatever.
Still drives me up the wall to this day that everyone called Sakura a bitch and all these other words and useless all throughout the manga, and
Let's be honest,
they
that's
say
still
they
going
went
on.
after Ino because she's like, oh, she dresses like a whore and everything like that, and then we get to Road to Ninja and we have Hinata having that same attitude, even worse, threatening to kill Sakura if she even touched Naruto, and then like dressed in an outfit so revealing that it made Ino blush, and they're all like, look how strong and independent she is. I was like, no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to sit here and...
One fan saying, we like this
It
because
was just a regular uniform, only the zipper was down. Just to let everyone know.
And short shorts.
Yeah. Okay, shorter pants.
She rolled them up really high.
Yeah.
But it's still mad that, like, this movie revealed that bias from the Hinata fanatics, that no matter what Hinata was as a character, they somehow praised her to no end, but every other female character in the series got just shit on non-stop.
Example is when Hinata started to act like, let's see, what you expect Sakura or Kushina to be as a mom in the Boruto anime.
You know what the problem is?
Looks like Hinata find a girl like Kushina.
The Hinata fans were anime fans. They probably didn't read the manga. And the problem with that being is that the anime really often kind of deviated from what Kishimoto actually wrote down.
Yeah.
Like, I actually saw a lot of early Part 1 scenes that involved Naruto and Sakura either were cut or made drastically different.
Thing, you know, where she jumps off and you know, on Naruto actually, so that the sword won't cut it.
Yeah.
But that it's not in the anime.
And you have the bridge part where Naruto talks about going on a date with her or something. In the anime, she like hits him off the bridge. In the manga, all she does is scold him.
Yeah.
So the whole violent thing that she was strictly driven by the anime, and the whole... I don't know where the useless moniker came from, other than the fact that none of the female characters... And I don't know how the hell any of the other female characters get praised for that, but yeah, she's like the only one...
It's because the other female characters have a gimmick. Sakura didn't have a gimmick.
Yeah, but none of them accomplished anything.
Weapons, Hinata, eyes, Ino, mine.
I can't even say that these fans watch the anime, because every time I ask them questions about anything Naruto related, they have no clue what they're talking about. Every single conversation always happens with, well, the pain arc confession. That's all they remember is the pain arc confession. I was like, anything else? They don't remember anything.
You bring this up every time. It's not even just... I mean, last time it was the manga. This time you're saying even the anime. It's like, what do they do?
They don't know anything. They know jack squat about this. All they remember, like every single, even today, I'm still arguing with some Narahina fans, and
Why?
because I can't shut up.
They exist.
Because we can.
Because I'm bored
They
and
don't
we're in the
accept it.
quarantine. What do you want me to do?
I've never seen a sore loser winning side. I mean, they can't even. You see it often on Twitter, especially for me.
I was like, oh, do you remember the time that Sakura did this for Naruto? They're like, oh, when did that happen? I was like, this chapter. It's also this anime episode. And they're like, oh, well, I never saw that. Well, why did you never saw that? You call yourself Naruto fans? I mean, I hate Hinata, Sasuke, and all the several other characters. I hate them with a passion, and yet I know more about their characters than their own bloody fan base does. What the hell?
There's Hinata fans that say she has a story.
Well, she could have had a story, because, her story start was pretty promising. But then all she got is, being Naruto's wife. I mean, at least, even now in Boruto, Ino is the head of, the barrier thing, whatever they call it. Sakura has her own hospital. What else? Temari is the Kazekage's guard or something. But then Hinata is what? Naruto's
The
wife?
baby maker.
The subservient housewife.
The human Stargate.
Well, I think it was literally confirmed that she gave up being a ninja after marrying Naruto. I think that's literally a confirmed thing.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I hear all this praise about him. I'm like, guys, all she is, her entire role in the story. I'm like, you ready? Yeah, what is it? Just to make kids.
Housewife.
She's a housewife.
Basically.
Which is sad.
Unfortunately, Sakura's hospital only ever got mentioned in her damn freaking light novel spin-off. That's literally all we ever know about it. They never really show it in Boruto.
Also, anime, you at least see her sometimes working in the Kahana hospital, at least. And I think this episode had her teaching kids how to use medical ninjutsu. So I guess that's some progress. So granted, it's like, we get so little, you tend to forget it.
See, and that's also something I always want to, I guess, kind of talk about. So, since you brought up the novel, that's the one part I actually did like. I was like, huh. And it kind of made me mad, too, because I was like, you could have made that a goal at the start of part 2.
I believe it's also one of the only novels not to be adapted into the anime.
I know.
And they just gave it to Kabuto.
Basically.
Because didn't Kabuto, isn't that what he has? He has that orphanage?
Yeah.
Probably.
He has, the Naruto guidance.
I think we're maybe going a little too far off topic.
A little bit.
Yeah, let's get back.
We're supposed to be talking about the side characters' thoughts, I believe.
Well,
what?
Let me get my thoughts on that real quick, because I didn't get a chance to talk as much. But, as far
It's
as...
your own fault.
You're supposed to keep it in check.
God, MangaReader hates everybody today. Look at this.
Bringing the saucy sauceness.
Anyway, Lucky, you were saying?
Okay, so, as far as Sakura's part of the story goes, I think what also really sticks out to me about the movie was that out of all the movies, this is the one that's where she's got the most involved in. I know some people want to say she had a role in the last one. No, she didn't. This is the one that actually was one of the center focus pieces of her. If that makes any sense.
Yep.
I think the only two movies Sakura didn't have any real major involvement in were the two previous movies, Lost Tower and Blood Prison.
Blood Prison.
I believe Bond.
Yeah, Blood Prison. Those were the only two that she wasn't really on screen that often.
Fair enough. Of all the times in Naruto media franchise, usually the most time she got a spotlight was in the movies, because at least in the first 4 movies, you were always almost guaranteed to Sakura to fight at least the female villain of the group in those movies.
Except in the first one when there was no females.
I think there was a female one, but I think Sasuke ended up fighting the female one, and then Sakura ended up fighting the male.
So Sasuke was a bitch even back then.
Oh!
I think you had the Sakura Blizzard technique.
MangaReader's like the TN of our podcast. Kiko, fuck yourself.
I'm the straight man.
Wait, TN of Dragon Ball or TN of Dragon Ball Z?
Dragon Ball Z abridged. God, if MangaReader was a character in Naruto, who knows? Maybe I'll get a Sharingan.
I don't know. I feel like MangaReader would be one of those people you forget.
Oh,
BlueStar.
Yeah.
What is up with BlueStar?
Go with the jugular.
Initial wrote Ninja poster. She forgot to put MangaReader in the poster.
Maybe BlueStar's is missing 4 life. That's probably what it is.
Don't worry, I'm the outlet for hatred.
But
Right.
we also know that this isn't the last time Road to Ninja makes an appearance. We also got the 2 filler episodes when Tenten was taken by the infant Tsukiyomi and she got transported to the Road to Ninja universe somehow.
There are a few differences, such as Lee and Guy being more similar to the infamous Tsukiyomi dream she had originally. And also, Memma is called Memma Namikaze rather than Uzumaki, and he's got the personality of Sasuke. And we find out that the Sakura of that universe has a massive thing for Memma. So yeah.
Yeah. And then there was a scene of Sasuke trying to hit on Sakura, and she like breaks the rose and says like, "Get that shit out of here."
Oh, yeah, and beats the living downs for him, which is so satisfying to watch. It's like, why did it take this long to see her land a bloody hit on the bastard?
Yeah. And then she says that fire line to Hinata. Memma would never be with a girl who doesn't like girls like you. Oh, sass is real.
Unfortunately, Memma has the personality of Sasuke and calls them both annoying, but hey.
At least he didn't try to kill him.
He doesn't have the Chidori.
As far as we know, he didn't try and kill us.
You hear Sasuke in the background. Hey, you know what you did.
Hey, man. I'll teach you the Chidori.
The reason why they did that in the anime was because at this point now Hina was canon, so they can't do any more Naruto content. But hey.
What?
Now up to 10.
Do you all remember that special extra recording they gave in with the movie?
The CD, right?
The drama CD, kind of, sort of.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Sasuke hitting on Hinata.
Sasuke, Ino, Choji, and Shikamaru trying to prevent that from happening. And at the end, it's revealed that, let's see, the Sakura of that universe likes Memma.
Yeah.
Oh, that one.
But it was also that Ino was trying to set Menma and Sakura on a date, and to get like Hinata out of the picture, she took over her mind and started hitting on Sasuke. And then Sasuke's like, "I knew it. I knew you had strong feelings for me." And then like she releases Hinata, and then she's like, "What the hell is this creeper doing with me?" And he's like, "Come back. You cannot hide from our love." It was so great. Yes, there actually is a drama CD that came with it.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's only in Japanese, so you can only find like English translations
On YouTube.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was still awesome though.
Yeah.
It was.
Well, thoughts on the side characters. Minato and Kushina, I don't know. They do
really
serve
side?
they do serve their purpose in helping Naruto come to terms. But other than that, well, I shouldn't say they didn't have no personality, but
You get to see how they would be like if they were actually
Survived?
Naruto.
right, yeah.
That's maybe being a bit more protective of Naruto than in the manga canon-wise.
Yeah.
Well,
It's kind of the same for what you've seen in the main continuity.
Yeah.
Is it sad that Minato and Kushina are like the best parents in this whole entire series?
I guess so.
It's pretty easy.
yeah.
Well, I mean, if you don't count Sakura's parents, that didn't seem all that bad.
Well, they let her marry Sasuke. I mean,
Yeah, but well, they let. We don't know. Maybe they didn't let her. Maybe she told them false lies or some shit like that. I don't know.
Anyway,
Next time Kishimoto comes to the stage, you ask him that.
Next time he comes.
I just say, I think that in many ways, the dynamics between Sakura's parents between each other seems to be very similar to now Sakura.
See, the thing is, Sakura and Sasuke aren't even married, to our knowledge either.
Yeah, they are married in the what is it called? The novels. He gives her a
Supposedly.
ring.
Supposedly.
I
They don't do anything.
I would actually like to know what Sakura's parents think about that. I think
They probably kill themselves.
We're going to see Sakura's parents interact with so
BlueStar.
Again, keep going back to what I said. This was a story that Kishimoto wanted to do but couldn't, at least what he says. So who's to say that her parents, that Sakura's parents, or even Naruto's parents, that for that matter, wouldn't behave the same way if they were still alive in the regular continuity? And
Well,
since this is the
Naruto-
first time, and since this is the first time we know that Sakura's parents make an appearance, I'm going to make the assumption, a very educated assumption, that Sakura's parents in Road to Ninja behave exactly like her parents would in the actual continuity.
Yeah, they're just braver. I mean, not necessarily braver, but basically, Sakura's problems with her parents was that they didn't want to, be disrespectful zonings and stuff like that. So, but otherwise, they're gonna be the same. Because, like, for example, in Road to Ninja, the only thing that changes is that they are Jonin and they do fight for the village, and her father gets to be the hero there. But in terms of personality, they're just the same, because Minato and Kushina were the same. Were loving, understanding to Naruto, protecting him and all that. They just weren't as brave. Not necessarily brave, but sacrificial, so to speak.
Rummaging through their fridge.
Me. No, I'm kidding.
Ooh,
I'm rummaging through BlueStar's fridge. Dang it, BlueStar, for a break, you don't have any beer in here. Come on. At least a lager.
Oh, so what are you doing in my fridge?
He's looking at
Anyway.
probably the 615 you have.
See, I don't know if I can really call Minato and Kushina side characters in this, because they had at least a fairly prominent role.
Yeah.
I'd say secondary characters is probably a better description.
Yeah, definitely.
At least support characters.
Yeah.
Other than that, we just have the regular people like Konoha 11 or 9 or whatever, and Tsunade and everything.
Cameo fan services, the rest of the K11 being there. Sorry, go on.
But yeah, Sakura's parents, unfortunately, the movie only reveals as much as we know.
That's about
Sakura's dad is a goof who likes to tell puns, and Sakura's mom tends to be a bit more strict. Otherwise,
And her dad has pink hair.
yeah, that too.
That
With
too.
with pink sideburns and a pink beard and mustache.
Yeah,
Nostradamus.
and,
Her mom is
What do you
blonde.
think about Sakura's parents?
I'm sorry?
What do you think
What do you
about
think of Sakura's parents?
You don't remember. No, I'm
remember.
kidding. I'm messing with you.
It's true, but we're just messing with you.
You don't remember in this podcast. Sorry.
because he's a fan, and all fans deserve a chance.
Was a fan.
Was a fan.
Was
Well, I guess that's also true.
What do you think,
We all
Nostradamus?
were fans.
What do you think, Nostradamus? Silence. Good talk.
It's our
Well, that's
pre-recorded
about
message.
The tape knew you would say that. Oh god. So, and yeah, and the Konoha 11, they're once again they're serviceable. It's fun. They're funny antics. Don't get me wrong. I think it some of the best part is the bathhouse scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Otherwise,
And then when Lee gets exposed, which outside of Shido and Sasuke, I think that's the last time you see them.
yeah.
It's in many ways, the CD thing, you get more development with like some of the alternative counterparts, mainly
Yeah.
and Sasuke and Hinata.
I would have argued
Yeah.
a movie. That would have been funny to see.
Yeah. Or at least an anime episode, right? Like a filler.
So,
Filler episodes.
And I really like how Ino was more of the Sakura's best friend in this one.
Yeah.
Maybe Chat can enlighten me if she has any girlfriends that are like this. But whenever I see like two girls be best friends, there's always like this dynamic where one girl's looking out for the other, and
Yep.
they support each other in such a way that. And during the regular manga run, I don't really see that. You see them more be rivals than best friends. And you're like, well, how are they best friends instead of just rivals? And I never see Ino
Yeah,
do that
yeah.
until this.
it's like,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they were like, even in the actual manga, they start like, being, her protector, and Sakura being the protege, more like best friend, And then as they grow up, they become rivals, which is funny because they then took this aspect of the Inosaku rivalry thing and applied it to Naruto and Sasuke for Naruto's love for Sakura. But yeah, definitely.
rivalry after their match, but the thing is, we never really see them interact again post Shipping exams. And let's see, which is probably one of the things I'm going to say about the Hidden and Kazu arc. I think there was a missed opportunity of Sakura confronting Ino after the death of Asuna. That could have been the perfect opportunity to have those two interacting about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last time, let's see, the friendship of Ino and Sakura is brought up in the manga is when Ino's dad is talking to her as, let's see, just before the Ten Tails bomb is blowing up the thing. That's the last time we see the friendship.
Yeah.
But it isn't that much, anything besides Naruto and Sasuke's relationship bond isn't that much explored in terms of girl-girl friendship and all that. But yeah, we girls usually do that, support each other and make, like little plans of how this and that should go in all areas.
But this is what happens when you devote an entire manga to two characters.
I really would have loved a flamboyant friend of Naruto. Well, it's just hey, girl. Really? You're gonna wear that?
Yeah, well,
Alas.
I don't think there's really much to be said about the side characters. They just serve their purpose.
Yeah. Like I said, the marketing doth protest too much.
Yeah.
They hype all these guys up and they're...
That whenever they try to introduce the side characters. Hey, this is their new look. Oh wait, they only appear in a minute of the movie.
Essentially, they got the Bonds treatment. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Bonds treatment.
Hey, that's my complaint every time I think of Bonds. I'm like, oh man, look at this. You're gonna see them reunite. Oh hey, Sasuke, what are you up to? Sasuke? Hey, can you hear me?
Shut up, Naruto. I'm trying to be moody.
So,
Live action Naruto, starring Hayden Christensen as Sasuke.
Antagonist thoughts. Menma, like I mentioned earlier, the twist here, it works because the voice, you don't immediately recognize it. As a matter of fact, you still kind of can't recognize it.
It marketed the hype out of, hey, look, an evil Naruto! God damn it! This is Terminator level of spoilers and trailers.
I guess.
I'm going to share an opinion that only I have.
Go on.
I thought Menma was hot.
Okay.
Is that because you saw him shirtless?
Shut up.
Not necessarily. Maybe the whole attitude he had.
Good one. Good one.
Otherwise, my only issue with him is how is he able to get away with all this?
That's my
He doesn't have to explain anything. He's beautiful.
It's possible that you could have parts of the Memma's parents lie about Masked Man is dead. Let's see, Memma took care of it. You could do something like that.
I guess, but
yeah.
to be able to get away with all this, he
Plot.
has to have gone at least a month. You know how big
Plot.
the ninja
It's
world
just all
is?
plot.
That is one thing.
It's small. You can just walk to the next village.
Yeah. Right.
Just follow the road signs to the hidden village.
Exactly.
I'll never get over that. There are road signs that point to where the hidden villages are. Well, then it's not very hidden, isn't it?
No, it's not.
Follow the yellow.
Should change the sign to sometimes hidden villages.
You don't see the village hidden in the leaves, actually hidden in leaves, despite being the land of fire.
They have a mountain, damn it, with faces on it.
Basically,
I know, that too. Yep. You
Yeah.
can see it. You can see it from the outside world.
But Madara in this movie, Toby, Obito. Spoiler alert for 2012.
Menma in 2012, it's still Madara. Madara and Menma were equally okay-ish villains.
Yep.
It's supposed to be ironical.
Yep.
yes.
But Madara in this movie is it's interesting to see how the as it was mentioned earlier by Chat, I think it was,
What?
how it gave us a glimpse as to how the infinite Tsukuyomi would have worked
Oh, yeah.
with the limited Tsukuyomi. How instead of it being based on their inner desires, their innermost dreams, it's pretty much the way he wants it to be, his own universe.
But a thing I didn't get though about that, he has that kind of ball thing
Yeah.
and spreading light and everything, and it's weird because if I recall correctly, Naruto looks directly into it, but Sakura covers her eyes. So I'm like, wasn't she supposed to look at the whole shiny ball thing?
I'm thinking that she probably glanced at it before she got a chance to cover her eyes. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think she mainly covered her eyes because of the light, not so much looking away from the ball. But no, you did have a point, Chat.
Well, it's just like the
I thought anything
Genjutsu,
the
because
light
Naruto
touched-
was standing next to her.
I thought anything the light touched was considered within the boundaries. I mean, that's what it, at least, I know this is 2012, so it's not touched upon, but I mean, later in, when we eventually do get to that point where the infinite Tsukuyomi is activated, they literally had the light, no matter what it touched, even if you weren't looking at the damn moon, still had you.
Oh, okay. I get it. Yeah, it makes sense.
Obviously, it made no sense at that time, but I mean, that's the one thing the manga actually does describe, because the only reason Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi don't fall for the
because they get
Tsukuyomi
covered
was
by
because there were was
covered by
Susanoo's Susanoo blocked out the light.
Yeah,
That's because Naruto was standing next to him.
But yeah, in the movie they don't make that really clear, but I think it's literally anything the light touches just instantly gets taken upon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I could be wrong, and maybe they do explain it, but I think the reality is that he only wanted Naruto to be captured, and the fact that Sakura was there with him.
Yeah, he does say that she wasn't supposed to be there, but well, since she tagged along.
It didn't hurt. In his mind, it didn't hurt having her there. Only for it to eventually hurt that she was there.
And it makes about as much sense as anything else in this series.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. I think my only flaw, I mean, if we're doing flaws at this point, because it sounds like we're doing flaws.
We're getting into that positive.
Yeah, we're getting.
Although, since this is a mini infinite Tsukuyomi, and we realize that some of the characters just swap personalities, it makes much sense why Naruto the Last, what people think Naruto the Last and everything after it is considered an infinite Tsukuyomi.
Uh-huh.
In a sense, yeah.
They never left. They never left.
You just see Madara sitting on the thing going, "Sleep, my children, and sleep well."
Just throw a scene of Patrick like walking up to his rock. Who are you people?
Who names their kid Bolt?
Well,
names their daughter Salad.
Dude, yeah. Salad.
Why? Because Sasuke tossed her aside?
Oh man,
Oh, God.
you're being mean.
Oh, did I just
James-
hurt your feelings?
Oh, not mine.
Not mine.
James, you're assuming he even knew he had a daughter.
Whoops, did I accidentally a shipping war?
Right.
You might have.
But yeah, the positives of this movie,
Yes.
it's a good romp. It's it's
It's a very
maybe
different
it's not
Naruto. I'll give it that. It's a very different Naruto movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can definitely see Kishi's involvement in it. That
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like it has the emotional depth that the actual story had up to a point at least.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And this is why it's the most highest rated movie out of all of them.
Yeah.
And I really think that any fan of Naruto needs to really look at this movie and look at what Kishimoto was talking about, because again, I'm beating a dead horse here. If this really is everything that Kishimoto wanted to do but couldn't, it really makes you think and reevaluate then what was the original intention.
But
Yeah.
what if they don't want to?
Well, then they're not Naruto fans.
Then that's their problem.
Yeah, makes me wonder anyway.
So,
I've already said my negatives on the movie. The marketing doth protest too much, and how just some aspects, not all, but some aspects of the limited Tsukuyomi kind of make no sense when you really think about it. But otherwise,
yeah, the side characters, let's see, the hype was from the side characters was, let's see, it was a bit disappointing to find out they only had, like, minor roles. I mean, I guess we did have a few scenes at the beginning of the movie where they're fighting the fake Akatsuki and then the alternative counterparts, but that's all you see of them.
Yeah.
Be fair, they've never been important in any form of the media, so I don't know why this movie would have changed that. But
true.
I think the only other time, like they didn't get like a heavy push, but they had some involvement in was the Wall of Fire movie. That's one I wanted to think of.
right,
Yeah,
that was from a symbolic sense.
and that's and ironic and
You had a bit of a spotlight, I think, was you had Shikamaru in the second movie, Rock Lee in the third. I think you had Lee and Neji in the first Shippuden movie, and then that was it.
Yeah.
I guess you could say Hinata was with Naruto and Bonds, but she didn't do anything.
Oh, that sounds pretty much.
She said
Anyway.
Sasuke-kan.
What?
She said Sasuke-kan at one point.
Oh, yeah.
coincidentally enough, I own Wheel of Fire on Blu-ray, but that's not related to this topic.
That's because it's a good movie.
As far as any room for improvement, maybe an extra half an hour to flesh out more of the side characters.
Yeah, I would say the same thing. I would even say,
Yeah.
like, if you wanted to, maybe you could have thrown in that chapter, and maybe you could have had that as like the scene
Starting
after.
Oh no! Yeah.
You like have that as the scene after the Ninetales fight in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Do that, and this might just be me, but I'd say maybe flesh out Nenda's character a little more, just from a writing perspective, just to see what was it that kind of made him go to that point. Because all we know from him is like, okay, so he's evil, but we don't know exactly
Why he's evil? Yeah.
Yeah.
And also the deleted scene, as mentioned by James earlier, of Naruto asking Sakura out on another date.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I think
And
the only
Sakura's
reason.
parents, though, I think that Kishi could have went even a bit more. I mean, maybe show a little bit what was that made her dad a hero. What did he do how did he protect the village?
Well, I thought it was the same that the Ninetales attacked.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, but
That's what I thought initially when I first watched this. It was like, well, did the Ninetales attack happen in this world? And she, because everyone's opposite, why not her become the Jinchuriki instead of Naruto? But no, there's just some vague lip service about some sort of attack that killed her
resulted.
parents.
yeah.
I would not mind like 10 episodes of an anime explaining all of this.
Yeah.
10 episodes. Yeah, yippee.
Why you think it should be more?
Maybe
No.
when Naruto gets the DBZ Kai treatment, there'll be a Naruto Super, as it were.
Oh, that'd be cool. Too bad Boruto's supposedly somehow popular, but not.
Well, Boruto's like Dragon Ball GT.
I am hilarious, and you will quote everything I say.
That'd be great if it was GT, because then eventually the Kishimoto will come out of retirement and decide, hey, I'm going to tell
Yeah,
the
that's
real
just-
after story.
You know hey, you know the manga that I penned for over a year? Yeah, I'm ending that.
Yeah.
Don't tell the
Ring,
boy.
ring. Hey, Kishimoto.
did
What do you want, Studio PR? Hey, we think you should do a Ronin and Ninja anime series. Now that your, Samurai 8 didn't go so well.
Oops.
Man,
Poor guy.
yeah.
But hey, at least for me, 5 volumes. That's easily digestible.
Yeah. I mean, he wanted to make it 10, but special something, I guess.
Wasn't it 14?
What, he didn't want to make another 15-year-long manga?
Oh, well.
Given how the last one turned out, you probably won't be able to. You probably won't be able to.
Anyway, I think the only reason Menmo was evil was because that was the one part that Madara had limited control over. Yeah.
Yeah. I like the glimpse of it, but
He said that he can't control the world, but he can mold it.
Mhm.
So I think that was his molding situation there. I mean, again, they didn't exactly outright explain it too well, but I think that was supposed to be the idea.
He's probably thinking, what should I use to capture Naruto? I know. I'll create an evil version of him.
Well, I don't think he created that version. It just so happened to be that.
be there, yeah.
Yeah.
As Double D would say, my, how convenient.
Yep.
My rating for this movie, 8 out of 10.
I wasn't even done with my flaws.
For me, I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10.
8.5. I'd do.
Let the record be known that my flaw was that the fact that they nerfed Naruto for the sake of plot. And that being said, that my rating is probably a 9 out of 10.
And I am a 9.5.
Lucky G.
9.5. Actually, no. I'll go a little bit above. 9.7.
9.7?
You dick! This ain't the Price is Right. You don't just bet $1 above me.
And great.
How dare you?
And great. Out of everyone here, I have the lowest score.
Okay.
Well, we planned this.
All right. 9.5. Just go on to the good side.
Nostradamus, what's your score?
And that just leaves me. And based upon what you guys said about the movie, because, well, I forgot, I would say an 8.5.
It was dust in the wind, but it's all coming back to me. Oh God, get it out! No, I really liked it.
I did too.
Yeah.
And considering everything else that has transpired since that movie came out, all the plot issues are nothing compared to all the plot issues that we're having now.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
If I were to take those in considerations, I'd give it the 20 out of 10.
Same.
In fairness, we were asking quite a lot out of a 150-minute movie, hour and 50 minutes.
Yeah. I mean, I actually get your guys' take on this. Does watching Road to Ninja affect does the ending of the series affect you watching Road to Ninja or
I'm
not?
just getting an echo effect.
I am too.
It's chat.
Oh. I hear a bit of an echo.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. My phone is kind of acting weird. It's heating, so I'm probably going to disappear soon and have to put it in the fridge again.
Well, Chad, any last thoughts before you have to put your phone in the fridge?
Yeah, well, basically, I really, really liked the movie. Yeah, there would have been some things I would have liked to see more explored, but out of all the Naruto movies, this is my favorite, of course, And I like the fact that It's quite an emotional movie, and it kind of, I don't know, wraps up the whole idea of Naruto, because it starts with this thing. Naruto asks, "What does it mean to be a ninja?" And by the time we get to the actual end and everything, it's explained to us, at least from his perspective, what it means that you have to endure all the things you go through, and even if you get to meet this world where you're basically given everything you ever wanted, but if you know it's not real, you'd better get to the real thing and work your ass off with what you've got. I don't know, I really liked it. Kind of gave off the impression I would have liked to have from the actual manga, of everything coming to full circle, which the source material didn't give out. So yeah, that's kind of it. Definitely one of the best movies of the franchise, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So in essence, a bunch of Narusaku fans really love a Narusaku-centric movie. Who would have saw that coming?
Yeah.
And if we want to continue on that tangent, a bunch of Narusaku fans don't like the next movie, which is a Narugina movie. What a surprise!
No, it's a Hinata-centric movie. There was no Naruto in there.
I believe Lucky Chi told me this story about the movie. About apparently I think in the cinema he went to watch the movie. Apparently, this one Naruhina fan that was in the audience was trying to tell her parents, "Yeah, Hinata is Naruto's girlfriend." And when the parents saw the movie, he said, "Yeah, I think like Sakura is the girlfriend." So yeah.
Well, no, that was the story where the parents asked, like, when does the blonde-haired kid get with the pink-haired kid? Wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I remember that one a bit.
Yeah,
I've never
something
heard
like that.
Everybody expected Naruto and Sakura to be together. I mean, you cannot, after everything in the
Well, they
development.
advertised the shit out of it.
Including Kishimoto's wife.
Yep.
Oh yeah. And and I think it's
Oh my god, yeah, I remember when Anime News Network, I was reading their interview, and I remember when, back in the days when I was making my theories, and I saw at some point, I saw them on my website.
Yeah.
And then I remember,
I hate Anime News Network.
yeah, well, I didn't give it too much thought back then.
I know
saw
what
them.
you're saying.
And then I saw them, asking Kishimoto about Narasaku. And when I saw the answer, I felt a little bit, yeah, get that out of there. You had a lot of Narasaku fans.
What was the answer?
Well, he said that his wife
yeah,
was mad at him for the ending.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that.
That Kishimoto was mad at his wife. Or Kishimoto's wife was mad at him.
It was a July
Okay,
2015
okay.
interview.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was right before the New York Comic Con he came to.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, anyway, that's that.
Yeah, I just don't like Anime News Network, and we'll probably never exactly explain why that is. But anyway.
Oh, why? No, you brought it up. Why is that?
Because of VM.
Why is that?
Okay.
VM. Well, yeah, that's also.
Well, I don't want Lucky Chi to be demonetized.
But I think it's
here.
also their bias. Yeah.
I guess, but that's how I found out Konosuba was going to be released on Blu-ray finally.
Yeah, I found it through Crunchyroll.
One thing
I found it through
I
Amazon.
found it through Crunchyroll.
One thing I think Saku fandom, this movie did a legacy of doing is like giving us the fanon name of Shinchikaku.
Shinachiku.
Shinachiku.
Yeah, Shinachiku. Because I think
Shinochikocho.
With like voice actor in Japan about why he named his kid. And originally she said he was thinking of Member, but since he used it for the movie, he'd probably do
Shinachiku.
Shinachiku. Sorry.
Just say Shina-chan.
Shikachiko.
So, in this movie, in this interview, we got the name Shina. For Narusaku Kid.
I forget where Hanami came from. Was it Hanami or Hanabi?
Hanami. No, Hanami.
Hanami, yeah, with an M, because Hanabi is a...
It
Just
came
Hanabi's
from the
sister.
fact that it's the festival in Japan, Hanami Festival, where they basically celebrate the blooming of the cherry trees.
Yeah, the
yeah,
Sakura
yeah.
blossom trees. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for the last one, Atsui, I think, was originally a name in the scroll of the Toad that was in the manga, and everyone originally thought that was Minato's name, but then they gave it to like the third Narusaku child.
There were theories about that Arashi is gonna be his name, so that's how Arashi came to be.
Too bad we didn't do this on April 3rd.
Yeah.
It would have been better.
Yeah, you mean the day Naruto fell in love?
Sakura.
We're gonna do one next year, or maybe, or we could do.
Hey, Narusaku Day is still popular.
We could do.
Yeah.
We could do that.
But
DVD,
anyway.
Blu-ray release. Yeah.
Well, actually, here's something I wanted to say before we got to that. So, does the ending of the series affect your enjoyment of the movie?
No.
Yes.
Nah.
Somewhat,
really think
and only
much
in
of
the
it.
somewhat, but only in the hindsight is 2020 aspect.
Yeah.
Otherwise, no, it doesn't. It doesn't ruin the movie for me.
In fact, I consider it the real ending.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's such a thing for a fan to say.
Well, hey, if the Narahina fans can make up whatever canon they want to, I can too. Damn it!
Make up. Supposedly they're the real deal. Supposedly.
Hey, they believe they're not that drove the entire plot.
Yes, they do.
Again, the fucking numbers. I'll bring that one up again.
Bring the numbers.
34 pages versus God knows how many.
13,728 pages, 84 pages where she's in it, and only 38 pages of NH interaction? Come on.
Yeah,
That's the less than 0.3% of the manga, you twats.
Exactly.
I give my props to whoever actually went
James
through all that
James
painstaking trouble.
Well, for the Narusaku build-ups, Lexstrom did it,
Yeah.
from what I know.
Yeah. I still have that as one of my favorited pages on Google Chrome here. I always like looking back on it. Bittersweet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, here's where
38 pages of interactions,
there's all,
of which
God, you guys are bringing me back to the old days.
All this supposed red herring.
Supposed.
And I say supposed because I'll always refer to One Piece doing a better job if that was the case.
a red herring, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that was just a buzzword for him. Like he didn't actually know how he would respond, so it's like, yeah, just.
That's not a red herring, though.
I know it's not. I know what a red herring is.
I know, but people always say, well, it was a red herring. I go, but that's not how a red herring works in a story.
It's not how it works. God damn it. And I will, yeah.
I'm saying this as a writer.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I'm saying this as a guy who owns God knows how many books, God knows, and has watched God knows how much movies and TV.
Can you name a red herring?
Yeah, well,
right?
you know nothing.
A red herring done right is in One Piece during Water 7. Everyone thinks Polly's going to be the shipwright. Nope. Ends up being Frankie. But here's the thing. We see that happen. This, not a red herring. And if it is one that's done pretty poorly.
One of the worst written.
It's like 99% of the manga's Narusaku, and then 1%, and less than 1%, even.
Is there anything
0.3 to quote James.
Yeah, less than 1% is Naruhina, and yet it ends up being Naruhina. How does that work?
Well, we can't even call it like that because Sasuke didn't really interact much either, and it ends up being Narusaku, or Sazusaku, and all their interactions are negative.
But at least they had interactions, and they had a mutual, okay, there were bad and negative interactions most of the time, but at least they had some ground
Mhm.
compared to Naruhito.
Yeah, at least
they had
part
an
1. The
ending.
second you get to part 2, that's a different.
Sasaku is dividing by 0. That's basically what that is, you know?
Dividing by 0.
You just create a
My-
big plot hole abyss.
I just tried to divide by 0. My laptop blew up.
But yeah, as far as the DVD and Blu-ray release is concerned, I'm a proud owner of it. I
So
watch
am
it.
I.
I own the Blu-ray DVD set.
Let's see, the normal means I went to
But it
watch
took,
the movie.
but it, but it took,
That's not to try and find it on YouTube.
it took a long time for it to come over here stateside.
Yeah.
Like
I don't even know if
2014.
we
2012 to 2014, and
I feel like it was 2014 that it came out in
Yeah.
America. And they were showing it like the week, or not the week, but I just remember that they showed it in theaters for like what, 2 days, 3
A
days?
few days. It was a few days. I remember because I went to go watch it in
I
theaters.
believe, in terms of box office, Road to Ninja made $16 million US.
I think it was the
maybe
Naruto movie theater since.
The only thing I remember is that Road to Ninja came out relatively the same time the last was going to come out in theaters in America. And I don't know why they did it that way, but
whatever.
Because they didn't want to confuse people, apparently.
Studio
movie.
Now we're going to release Road to Ninja, but don't be mistaken. Narasaku is not a pairing, it's Naruhito. That's what we want you to focus on. Even though Narasaku has a better dynamic.
Well, in this case, it would have been Viz Media.
Freaking Studio Pro. But anyway, yeah, in 2013, we had to rely, at least watching it online, we had to rely first on the Korean dub.
I remember that.
And then the Japanese dub finally came out later that year in 2013.
You hear that, people? You know how many translations we had to do?
Many.
I swear I had to do French before I got to English.
And for me, that was surprising that there's a Korean dub on Naruto because, you know, Korea's whole history with Japan regarding ninjas and samurai.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it was South Korea.
Also, just as a little side note, if anybody who watches Road to Ninja in English, if you hear Kate Higgins as Sakura's dub voice actress, if you hear how she sounds in here and you compare it to the last, there's a huge difference. Because I really feel like in the last she doesn't give a shit.
I don't think Juko did either.
Well, no, she didn't.
They all sound miserable.
I don't think really anyone in the last gave that powerful of a...
They lacked the emotion.
I mean, Yuri Lowenthal sounds bored. Yeah, let's just do this.
He had a 2-second... he had a 2-second thing. Unless you're talking about in the Boruto movie, then yeah, obviously he had more of a role at that point.
Oh
yeah.
Yuri got kicked in the last.
Has no significance in is the first one, the Bonds movie, and then Boruto.
Yeah, Bonds, he at least had somewhat of a role, but yeah, in the last, they made it out to be like Sasuke would be there, and all he gets is like 2 seconds.
Man, that's the biggest... You see what I mean by difference in marketing? That's the best example. They marketed... Yeah, I mean, Sasuke was all over the place, and in the movie, he had like 2 seconds.
Yeah, they had to literally appease to the fans who, I mean, because Sasuke actually, as much as James hates it, Sasuke was actually a really popular character.
Yeah.
The marketing doth protest too much.
Yeah, but at least Sasuke did something, so I can understand his popularity. So I'm like, okay, well, it's not that I hate his popularity, I'm just like, I can understand why he exists. Hinata's popularity confuses me more than Sasuke's popularity does.
It does.
In Japan, it's only because of her voice actress. It's strictly because of her voice actress in Japan.
That's...
Although I do really like the... Which movie was where like Sasuke grabs Hinata and just tosses her behind him?
That would have been Bonds.
Be gone, thoughts.
It's Bonds.
If I recall, after the last movie, there were some fans in Japan complaining about the voice actress once again her character ruining a franchise, such as the Toriko one. because I think she had a character in that.
Oh yeah, I remember there was this thing on 2
If you
chapters.
say so. I think I made it
believe it.
clear once. I think I made it clear once or twice on a couple of podcasts before this that I have no interest in reading or even watching Boruto. I rely on you guys for the reactions. Oh, by the way, there's
It's boring. I've read it because at some point I had a friend who told me about, there's this Sakura seal that it's on Boruto's hand and everything, and I was like, let's see. But it's really boring, and the kids are overpowered like shit, and it just comes out of nowhere. What's that? The old ways, of training and stuff like that, and actually working your
Training
ass
is
off.
for losers.
It's Naruto GT.
Yeah. So it's like
Boruto's like, "Be gone, peasants."
We want to, yeah, we don't want to wait.
Yeah.
Actually, what I think is really ironic is that Orihime and Hinata are voiced by the exact same person, and they're both the same character dynamic, and yet Orihime is hated, while Hinata's loved to the extreme.
Because Rukia is a lot more popular.
Orihime, I believe you mean the English voice actor. I'm not sure about the Japanese.
Yeah, the English stuff.
Yeah.
Which is a shame because in terms of Hinata versus Orihime, I like Orihime more because she actually
Orihime did a lot more on Bleach than Hinata ever did on Naruto.
Yeah.
Let's be fair.
You actually had a good amount of interactions between both Rukia and Orihime, so
yeah. So
I think the one problem is that we should have seen coming was in all those main heroine images that they always did for summer. Orihime was the one that was picked.
Yeah.
Instead of Rukia.
But other than that, it was always Rukia.
Yeah.
Though. So it's like kind of. And if we were to go back by that one, what about the Narusaku one? You get me? Because Sakura was shown in there, so.
She was. I remember that.
Shit. The last 2 movies for Bleach, the 3rd and the 4th, they were both Rukia centric.
Especially the 3rd one.
Yeah, I know. The 3rd one was 100%.
I feel like Bleach got the
It was originally supposed to be the protagonist for Bleach, but changed to Ichigo.
Yeah, anyway, I feel like Bleach got the same treatment that Naruto got, but at least in Bleach, the narrative was a tad bit different.
Well, Bleach has at least the excuse that Kubo got screwed over by Shonen Jump to just end it, so he kind of had no choice.
Well,
that and his sickness too.
That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Kind of deteriorating at the time.
He was sort of afraid of dying, so he figured, well, I better wrap it up before I die.
Only to
And
not
lo and
die.
behold, it was all for nothing. He got better.
Yeah.
Hey,
So they
better
finally
outcome
get
than
the
what Saito
anime.
did.
I wonder if the anime will actually try and tackle what he was envisioning.
I think
Like if the
yeah.
Why not?
Wait a
That'd be
minute,
interesting.
wait. Who is the studio doing it?
I think
Which
it's
is
Area
the-
Pro.
But here's the thing. There's 2 different teams. There's the Bleach team and then there's a Naruto team. And as far as Bleach is concerned, the anime wasn't that bad as far as an adaptation goes. Outside of, say, the Longer Saga, in terms of, hey, let's cut off here, go to filler. Cut off. I'm like, can we put a good point? Stop, because
I think that's where Naruto took its cues from during the last quarter of the anime. We're just adapt, pause, adapt, pause, adapt, pause.
Yeah.
all I can say is that the art for Naruto, or in this case, I guess Boruto at this point, looks absolutely horrendous. Horrendous.
You don't like the
Yeah.
ladies there?
No, I don't.
There are kids.
Wait till they get to the Hinata episode, then they'll like dump their entire load onto it.
Oh God.
I'll at least say this much: I can't blame Kishimoto for the art on Boruto. It's someone else entirely.
I know. Well, he ditched Boruto pretty quickly to do his own manga, only for that to fail too, unfortunately. So he's reaping his karma.
Although I can imagine them trying to call him back. Hey, please, can you come back and do Boruto? No, well, your thing failed. I don't wanna. I'd rather have make 50 more failing mangas than go back to Boruto.
Go back to that franchise.
Well, I think he established early that he wasn't even writing it. He was just being a consultant.
That's it. Yeah.
Consultant in quotes.
No, he's an editor.
Well, yeah.
Editor in quotes too.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean he cares. He just looks in and goes, okay.
So we discussed the drama CD and the Road to 10 episode. Never really discussed the Road to Sakura episode because that was a funny episode of the anime. It's like, I don't know you people. Well, what do we look like? And then not
You look like a slut.
Wasn't that episode where Hinata was dressed in a
in the red
dress?
In the red sexy dress.
And
And they fought. I'm sorry.
yeah.
And there was a huge emphasis on that. I remember I was like, wow, it's like they put like a load on
Stupid Venus flytrap.
They do, and have a nosebleed all over the page, and just like, okay, put her in a red dress.
Well, they had the Venus flytrap for symbolism of something.
Perfect place where they put it.
Right.
Seriously.
Yes. You think it's all beautiful at first, and then it just kills whatever it swallows.
Oh.
Well.
What?
Yeah. That is.
Hey, the Naruto we know and love is dead and gone. It's not the same anymore.
I'm getting some teeth PTSD here.
Yeah.
That's how the kids got the whiskers. They just scrape their faces against the teeth.
Oh my god.
Thank you for that image.
You're welcome.
The Road to Sakura episode goes. The one part that got me chuckling was when Ino brings up Sasuke, and Sasuke's just like, "Oh, that Playboy."
One thing I do like about the Road to Ninja Sakura is that she Sasuke.
I like the part with her parents. Now that I talk to you guys, I recall that it was from Road to Sakura, not Road to Ninja, because the day after I saw a movie, I was like, dude, but there's this part with their parents and the little necklace. Where is that? Wasn't that supposed to be in the movie?
That was in the Road to Sakura episode.
She gets all emotional and teary-eyed, and that's actually one of the better moments of the episode too.
Yeah.
I also liked how, in order for the K11 to try and gain Sakura's memories, they're forced to reenact what their alternative counterparts do, which is torture for Shino because he doesn't like seeing his bugs getting eaten by plant traps. And Lee and Neji are tied to a pole, and Neji's going like, "What the hell did I do?"
Just to tie back into the DVD and Blu-ray thing, I think the Road to Ninja Prologue and the Road to Sakura episode should have been on there.
Yeah, they really should have. All we get is the trailers, obviously, but then let me take a look here. What else do we get? We get
an art gallery.
Yeah, the art gallery on the Blu-ray, but that's it.
Yeah, that's about
it. The only other special feature was video and audio, made very Japanese.
That's about it, yeah.
Yeah, the Japanese trailers.
Commercials, promotional videos, trailers. I don't know how the hell any of that is any different from what they were saying, but whatever.
Yeah. That's the only disappointing thing from the DVD and Blu-ray is that there wasn't anything
that technically goes to any anime movie released on DVD or Blu-ray. They just lack in the extras that, any Hollywood produced movie would at least have.
Yeah.
There's no commentary done by either the Japanese cast or the American cast. There's no behind the scenes featurettes. There's just the art gallery, and then that's it, pretty much.
It would have been cool to see for this movie in particular.
Yeah, I guess it's a culture thing, maybe.
Yeah.
I watched this movie twice in succession, once in English, once in Japanese. Once I got this DVD Blu-ray set. It's etched in my mind.
Yeah.
Are we just adding filler to this discussion now at this point?
There's still more to talk about. Like, does this movie still hold up? I think so.
Yeah, I think it's definitely.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if there's anything that probably holds up in Naruto these days, it's this movie.
Yeah.
I mean, the only let's see, besides maybe chapter 631, let's see, this is probably the best content of Naruto during 2012 and postwards.
I would say this, like, after, if it were my choice and I stopped at Pain, this would probably be the next thing I go to after that.
Fair enough.
What about you, James?
Yeah, what about you, James?
James is awfully quiet. I don't know if he's
I'm
still
not
around.
while we're waiting for James.
Do-do-do-do.
Well, I actually said thank you for not asking me, but apparently it's just dead.
Do-do-do-do-do.
Oh, so mean.
Do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Oh, look at that! Woohoo!
The price is right, James.
James,
The price is
save
right.
me!
Sasuke.
James, does this movie still hold up?
Hold up, it's the only canon I recognize now.
Is it on
Everything
your
else can
pedestal?
go in a dumpster fire.
Is it in your pedestal? Is it surrounded by white light? Is there
No, because I
rose
never
garden?
got it. Because I never got this movie.
Oh, you never got it.
Life has been very hard on me, guys. I haven't had much money to spend on anime and stuff.
That makes sense.
I spent $30. $30.
Yeah, and that's still too pricey for me.
30?
You're telling me, you know.
Where you get
I
it.
would-
I have to pay $2,500 in bills, guys. Come on, that's
Yeah.
monthly.
You can afford a house.
Yeah, now.
Let's not get into that. You're talking to an employed person.
Yeah.
To an unemployed person.
And
No, James is unemployed right now.
Yeah,
So am I.
yeah, but I got into a car accident and settled with a $15,000 settlement
When was
but
that?
very recently, actually.
Yeah,
Wait, the
housing
settlement or
market
the
sucks.
accident?
The accident.
The accident was April 12th, 2019.
Oh. Anyway,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
It's an anniversary.
No, you're fine. Yeah.
yeah,
Yay, you're crippled.
yeah,
Anniversary of you being crippled, yay.
manga reader, you of all people should know. Over at C2 Ito, those anime prices.
I know. Good lord.
Although One Punch Man is like $16 right now on Amazon.
Yeah, but that's
Does that
only
count for
a
canon?
That's only the non-collector's
That
edition.
reminds me, well, granted, probably tomorrow, if you have a Nintendo Switch, I believe the first 3 Storm games have a discounted price on it.
And it's still too much.
Yep.
Still too much?
Do people still buy the Naruto games?
Oh, yeah. It's the only way
Yeah.
they're making money now.
The last
Really?
epic.
Yeah, that's
Have they even come out with a new one? I mean, Shinobi Strike.
They're about to re-release Ultimate
Storm?
Ninja Storm 4 on Switch.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean,
Actually, I like everybody's been modding it to put Shinachiku in it and then beating the fuck out.
Well, if ever one of us gets so rich, maybe we're just gonna buy the Brights and
No, you know
rewrite
what
everything.
You know what I'm
Brian.
going to do? I'm going to become president of the United States, and then I'll go visit Japan, and I'll tell Kishimoto to rewrite the ending.
Otherwise, it's an act of war.
And then once I get back
Otherwise,
home
we'll drop
here,
another one.
and then once I get back home here, I'll make it an executive order that this is now the Narasaku is now the canon ending.
This is the official ending.
Well, at least make April 3rd a National Narasaku holiday.
At least.
No, James, that'll be your job as vice president, doing the.
Oh,
Sweet.
That's your job. As if the vice president has
I'll be handling the international
Mark
stuff.
at it.
You'll be handling the
Yes.
domestic stuff.
Sir,
Okay,
Mr. Vice
so-
President, what do you think of all the people that don't want to celebrate this? My fellow Americans are and idiots if they don't celebrate this holiday.
Hey, Goku gets a day, May 9th. Mainly because it's a play on words in Japan, but still.
Fuck Goku.
but
Yeah, it would have been nice to have an Arasaku Day, you know.
Japan sort of has one.
Yeah, Japan sort of has one.
Yeah, but it's more like a convention.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a convention. Yeah, not
Yeah.
I have to admit,
Maybe one day they'll have a Narahina convention. Oh, I'm sorry.
Anyway, moving past that, I don't have enough battery.
That's all conventions in America, James.
Alright, so chat, I guess this is bye for now. Your battery's running out.
I still can hold it like 5% more, but after that, I'm gonna be gone.
We'll get through this. Just hang in there.
Okay.
All right, we got to wrap it up in 5 minutes, guys.
All right. So the next question, I'll start this off first. So, is it truly a Narasaka movie? And by that, I don't mean like, oh, is it all mushy gushy of just Narasaka? No, I don't.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
I know some people are going to take that into account, but no, it is really their movie because they're living each other's opposite lives and whatnot.
I say it is a Narasaka movie for two reasons. One, just because it's not lovey-dovey, over-the-top romantic like the Naruto the Last movie is,
too long.
doesn't mean it's not as Narasaka movie. Two, the best thing about the Narasaka relationship is that everything was subtle and organic, and that's what this movie was.
Yeah.
It was subtle and organic, and that's what makes it such a great movie. Not like this overblown, oh, here comes a random villain from the moon that says he's going to take Hinata for no reason other than just to make Naruto jealous.
Or
really?
That's one of the smart things of this movie. Instead of trying to make random villains like the other movies, which usually end up being bland for the most part, they use the villains that are actually in the series. So in other words, heck, let's just use the Akatsuki.
Basically.
Yeah, pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And let's have Naruto decide that the whole world should blow up because Hinata doesn't love him anymore.
Boo-hoo.
This is a dude wouldn't give up on Sasuke, but he gives up the whole world because Hinata doesn't love him. Oh, boo freaking who.
Dumb Spider-Man 3 moment of the movie, my god.
It's like, but guys,
We'll never hear the end of that.
Naruto still doesn't love Hinata.
This will always be brought up.
I would rather read one more day while on cancer treatment than watch Naruto the Last one more time.
This is what they show in torture devices.
And why do we like, love, or think it's the best Naruto movie? Why do I think that?
Because I told you so.
I told you so.
Yeah, that's probably it. No, why do I think that? I think that mainly because I want to say the movies prior to this were tried to be more epic and grand in scale. This one's
very down
kind of sort of very down to earth, just mainly centered in the village type of movie.
Yeah.
It is, I don't know, I think it is the most essential movie for Naruto. Because it treats the whole essence of what Naruto was supposed to be, at least. You know, in the beginning, there were ninjas. What does it mean to be a ninja? And everything else. And it all wraps up. And has also the whole emotional thing. So it is, because that was with Naruto. We had ninjas, and we were very emotional tomatoes over the fact that Naruto didn't have parents and had to grow this and that on himself. So basically, Road to Ninja takes that aspect, takes the very three most important aspects: his parents, his dream to be a Hokage, and his love for Sakura. And from another perspective, thank you, it deals with them. And it doesn't force Narasaku. Yes, it is 100% Narasaku movie, but as James said, it was all organic. It didn't have to be, in your face.
Admittedly, I would have liked a kiss on the cheek, but oh well.
No, on the forehead.
Forehead.
I'm still salty about that. Years later.
we did get a bridal safe scene, so.
Well, yeah. There's that. What? but yeah, I'm not.
When it comes to Naruto movies, I'd say among them, only 3 of them are great movies. The first Naruto movie I think was enjoyable for what it was at the time. Granted, it ended up starting a trend of formulas for the next few Naruto movies. Let's see, but yeah, the other movie that came close to like Road to Ninja, I'd say, in terms of like sort of character-driven and emotional stuff, was The Will of Fire, particularly with the relationship between Naruto and Kakashi, and Naruto's desire to save Kakashi, so like that. But I think what really makes this movie stand out the others is that it's very character-driven in terms of Naruto and his parents. Let's see, Sakura learning, let's see, what Naruto's gone experiencing for what not having parents his entire life, personal conflicts and stuff. Let's see, motives, villains' motives and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, granted, it's not the perfect movie. In some ways, I think the animation is probably weaker than some of the other Naruto movies, and I guess you could say the fight scenes near the end probably are not as epic as the others. But I still say it's a very great movie just because, well, it focuses on the right beats, such as the emotional payoffs, let's see, interactions between our two main characters, and then let's see, and the Naruto and his parents. So yeah,
it's ironic that we were talking about how, I don't know, how Kishimoto's writing kind of, for the ending anyway, kind of sucked, but I think this movie actually benefited from the fact that Kishimoto wrote it.
Mm-hmm.
From a narrative standpoint, it might be, well, from a narrative standpoint, it definitely is the definitive Naruto movie because of coming directly from the source material writer himself. I mean, I agree with BlueStar in that cinematic-wise, there wasn't too many action scenes that were portrayed particularly in a grand scheme like the rest of the previous movies. I mean, I think this is like really the second movie in the movie verse of Naruto where Naruto doesn't use a different Rasengan variation. I think the reason this holds up again is because Kishimoto was the definitive writer for this movie. It wasn't some, I don't know if all the other movies were written by the same person or if it was just a bunch of different people at different times writing different movies, but it definitely exceeded in from a story-wise setting. I'd argue it's less of a movie, more of a long episode, but apples and oranges.
You know, one rumor I did hear about, let's see, this movie that is originally was not going to become a movie, and instead the sort of filler 6-part Power arc was supposed to be the movie that came out at the time, but Kishimoto was
Yeah, you kill that bear. Like you were fighting a bear there, like. Brah!
Thank you for your input there, BlueStar.
Which we didn't hear, but anyway.
Gee, what do you have?
So as for me, I
Fascinating.
Oops, well, your time's up.
Bring a tear to my eye, Lucky G. Just, I have no words.
Lucky, can I say something before?
Go ahead.
I would say this movie is essential simply because it actually has a connection to the manga, to the original story. While the rest of the movies, I mean, it's like a side story. It's just it's the same characters, but it's not really the same characters. It's more the same characters, just a name. They have different villains, different arcs, different story, completely different things that don't have a connection to the story, to the manga, I mean.
Yeah.
I think one thing that works for this movie is the fact that you don't have this movie-only characters that take up a bit of a chunk of the plot, and you have to develop them instead of like the actual main characters. I mean, the only new characters introduced into this movie were Sakura's parents, and I suppose the evil counterpart.
Although you can make an argument that his characters are not technically new because they were planned by Kishimoto. He just never implemented them.
Yeah.
And they've already existed in the universe, so to speak. It's just this is the first time seeing them, and the only time, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Which
Lucky
probably goes with
USA.
how it's so organic, because it's already in the established lore. That's why it works so well.
Hmm.
Canon versus continuity, people. Canon versus continuity.
Yeah.
Why do I love or think it's the best Naruto movie? I like how different it is, number one, and I think we've echoed that statement already. But I like how it's more personal for the characters, and I like how focused it is, because like while I enjoyed some of the other Naruto movies, I don't think they're like as focused and as
Character driven.
emotionally moving, character driven as this one was. And I thought it was I also really like it because for the longest time people always complain about Sakura because it's like, oh, she's useless. Oh, she doesn't really do anything. She doesn't have much of a purpose. But here, and
she goes head to head with Toby, actually.
She does.
Yeah, but who cares? I mean, it's not Hinata, so we don't care.
Yeah, like I like that aspect of like this is like probably one of the only movies where she gets like a role and like an opposite reaction, kind of like with what I said with how she figured out Naruto's life, and then Naruto kind of lives off her life of having parents and knowing what that's like, and the whole symbolism of like family and whatnot. I think that like really sticks out. That's why I think it's the best Naruto movie.
Yeah.
And will forever be the best Naruto movie.
Apparently, if Tony Stark were in charge of streaming.
Unless Kishimoto decides to do a movie that retcons the ending of the manga. This is the true ending.
Hey, anything is possible. I mean, we had Toriyama rewrite the ending to DBZ, so why not?
It's possible.
Just give him enough money.
Push.
I'd give him.
I don't know if.
Give him like
No, that's really what this is all about. If you give him enough money, he's going to go, okay, fine, I'll do whatever. We'll continue Naruto in an instant.
And we both know Junko will be on board.
Yeah. For the right. I don't know. It would be interesting to see if we ever get a different ending to this, because I mean, I keep questioning myself in terms of his, reputation. Was the shock value worth? Because Boruto isn't doing that great, at least in manga sales. I've done some research because I'm curious like that. Yeah, the anime is okay-ish from what I saw, but the manga sales for Boruto, no, it's totally crap. Then I found out that Samurai 8 flopped. And I kept asking myself, was it worth it? Because this has to do a lot with branding. And Kishimoto, as a brand, he kind of literally screwed himself over.
No, as a brand, he's finished.
Yeah, because if it were to for him to have made the right decision to, cater the Naruhina fandom and all that, the Naruhina fandom and whatever Sasaki, all that, should have been able to support the new generation. But instead, it's flopping. So it's a clear, result that they kind of, didn't do the calculations, him and the editors or whoever was with this whole idea to end Naruto.
From what I understand, let's see, the author of Boruto, Ikimoto, I think, or
Ikimoto, yeah.
Minachi, whatever, wants to have Boruto last 30 volumes.
How many?
30, apparently. What they're saying.
It's at 44th, volumes or chapters?
Volumes.
Oh.
Currently there's 11 volumes. Let's see, well, there's going to be 11 volumes come May 13th, so if that's the case, we're going to have at least another 19 volumes of Boruto before that ends.
Ah, shit.
So, relatively another 5.
Here we go again.
Yes.
It's nearly the same length as Full Metal Alchemist.
Part 1.
Hey, Nostradamus, can I borrow your forget me pills?
It comes in age.
Damn it.
Well, if you want, you can borrow my time machine.
Of course, the British person would advocate for a time machine.
Of course.
Dun, 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 dun,
Oh,
dun,
Only if
dun,
it's a
dun.
DeLorean. Although I won't get out of Hill Valley. Just
Anyway, it is what it is, after all.
Yep.
Yeah.
Still
I don't like it.
You don't like it?
I don't like it. I don't want it. I want my money back.
Too bad for
Lucky
you.
me
So
that I
sad.
didn't invest any money. And man, I said, if this ends well, I'm gonna buy all the volumes. I don't care how much they cost.
See, you
Funny,
didn't
that was exactly me.
see.
Hmm.
I remember at the time, right before the ending came out, like I had pretty much all the volumes except for the 5 Kage Summit, and I was like, all right, ending comes. Only got like maybe 4 volumes to pick up before whatever comes out next, and I was like, all right, I'm set. And then the ending hits, and I'm like, I was close. And then
Oh, I got Kindling.
Well, if I ever to buy the volumes again, I'd probably be buying the box sets, but yeah.
I mean,
Well, granted, but see, one thing I'd love to happen, or it's never going to happen, is if like Roto Ninja itself got a manga adaptation. Hey,
Still want that Minato Gaiden, Kishimoto. The one that you promised.
yeah, it's the Samurai 8, it's done. Maybe Kishimoto could do that.
Yeah,
That's
well,
it.
I don't go into like my opinion on that. I think he's probably going to try something new.
Mm-hmm.
And most people forget he's writing that; he's not drawing it. So there's that.
yeah.
But
Oh well.
I guess we get into stuff on the fun note. So, how would you guys like to see the story continue?
I don't.
With Hinata getting a bullet to the head.
What you mean, Roto?
Is that bad? Is that
Yeah.
bad?
Whoa.
Am I a bad boy?
Yes.
I was talking
Aw.
about the story of Roto Ninja. Like, how would you like?
Yeah.
Well,
Uh,
see a spin-off manga series of like the adventures of like Member and that lot, or I'd like to see a sort of maybe a sequel of Ritzy, but it's in the Ninjaverse where you actually have Naruto and Sakura get together or something.
How would you waste a bullet like that, Nostradamus? They're expensive.
I don't know. I sort of
Alright.
go ahead, chat.
So, you heading off then?
What? Me, I would have, I don't know, liked to see more of the actual world. If it were to be like, let's say, since we have now all these worlds in Borto and stuff like that, and Sasuke can travel to all these dimensions, it would have been nice to have a dimension that somehow goes back to them and see there what's different, how much is different in terms of power scales or something like that. What can Sakura's parents do? How is she like
Yeah.
all-rounded, you know, not just bits and pieces. What other, you know, troubles, political troubles, or I don't know, do they have, since it apparently it wasn't a QB attack because QB was searching for the fourth in this world as well. So what kind of war or what kind of, I don't know, situation did Sakura's parents fought that they're missing? And yeah, I guess, I don't know, I would like to see more, the story more centered a bit on her, I guess. To have Kishimoto do all these things he said he couldn't do, basically.
Yeah, I was pretty much gonna say treat it like the ultimate, like the ultimate universe of Marvel before it collapsed in on itself. Just treat it like its own alternate dimension with few tweaks here and there.
Yeah.
Just retcon it. Make it seem like the ending and everything after it was just a infinite Tsukiyomi, and they continue the story.
Yeah.
I mean, and I always wondered why not go? Because I mean, from a sales perspective, you would have won the whole
Fan base.
audience, not just one part of it. I mean, even
They
if you
assumed-
take it mathematically, it doesn't add up. Why to go just that way, since you could have just made it all a dimension for this one, a dimension for that one, and have the story be seen from this dimension.
Because
And
people
then-
are stupid, and sometimes when it comes to creation, they do really dumb things that don't make any sense.
Let's see, it's possible that, that Shonen Jump, just doesn't understand the concept of parallel universes like Marvel and DC do.
Oh, come on, that's bullshit.
Yeah, I don't buy that.
'Cause
When it doesn't
they-
make sense, you can't make dollars.
Yeah, true, though. Because what? They needed more conflict? Okay, you can just add conflict in each of those dimensions.
All I know is that Boruto has become like pancakes. It was all exciting at first, but now we're just fucking sick of it.
I mean,
Yeah.
also, this said, alright, let's just add more Asuki clan members for the bad guys.
They're not utilized in any capacity.
By the way, where
Yeah,
the
we
hell
don't-
did those guys come from?
We
Or-
don't know.
From the moon, but then they weren't exactly from the moon. They were from
yeah, okay,
some, I don't
Toneri
know what
was from the
planet.
moon, one guy, but the rest of them?
Apparently from the moon too.
But
Moons.
didn't Toneri say he was lonely?
We don't know.
It was outer space. They come from another planet.
Yeah,
Ah.
they don't they have those fillers where they treat
Space aliens.
yeah basically.
Ninjas in space.
Well, Kishi did wanted to have ninjas in space, you know.
Oh god.
My only
Samurai 8, I mean.
his sci-fi manga that he wanted to
Yeah.
write. My only question is why didn't Toneri ever come back down and help him? You think he would be like essential to this one?
Well,
I was supposed to protect Kaguya's body from being stolen. Well, you did a pretty good job when Madara came and got it.
so as far as that's concerned, because they redid the movie and the anime, right? And my friend told me about this, but apparently Toneri got bodied.
Got what?
He got stuck in ice. Apparently.
Yeah. Because there
Yes.
was like an extra Asuki clan member, and he stealed up Toneri, and this was the same villain that was later used in the Boruto goes back into Naruto's timeline arc. So yeah. Funny enough, he's also voiced by the guy who voices Zoro in the Japanese anime.
Yeah, whatever.
I believe I sent Lucky Chi an image of like sketches of this guy who was originally supposed to appear in the Boruto movie.
Well, time to blow up the moon. My house.
Oh, dear God.
And in other news, global tidal waves are now happening all over simply because the moon is destroyed.
Yeah, but wasn't the moon created by like Hagoromo in the first place?
Yep.
What the hell did they do before that?
I don't know.
We're explaining why the land is so different.
And it's not like
Created a moon,
you
and
know,
all the water just. And then Noah's like, "Oh crap!"
and it's not like, you know, they couldn't create another moon because that's what Nagato did with Chibaku Tensei.
I think so.
All I know is Madara brought down a meteor, and it didn't do anything, so he brought down another meteor to take out that meteor.
If Kishimoto did planned world building in advance, he could have just said like there were two moons, and the second one is an artificial created one. That's the Ten-Tailed body again.
Well,
Madara makes Sephiroth look like a joke. Meteor? Really? Come on. I got two.
I mean, I know in one of the interviews he says that he regrets not setting up the world in Naruto and just going off the rails with it.
Yeah, it's in the interview with Kobayashi, I think. He was saying how they were just going along with it. And that's the problem. I mean, I think that's why it all ended so sketchy at some point, because they don't even knew what they were doing in the first place.
Hey, editors, what do you think about this page? Is Hinata in it? No, she doesn't come till later. Well, then we don't give a crap. Do whatever you want.
So anyway, is there anything more to talk about Road to Ninja? Or
Actually, no, that's actually...
Road to Ninja, road to success.
That's a good one.
No, the last thing
Yeah.
is some closing thoughts. So,
Mm-hmm.
Did we already have that?
Kinda.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
We've pretty much all had our closing thoughts spread throughout all this.
We did.
You know.
People in the comments, wasn't the whole thing your closing thought? Shut up.
Basically.
You suck.
So it might be a good idea to do some sort of closing thoughts instead of just dragging this on and on and on and on.
Okay. I'll make this brief on my end then. So, I'll say this: despite with what's happened with the series, despite the canon, that's never gonna take away from what I love about this movie and why it's probably one of the few Naruto-related things I'll go back to watching.
Yeah, same here.
Yeah, well, for me, it's always gonna be the dearest movie out of them all, from various reasons.
Yep.
Especially the emotional part, because I gotta admit, yeah, I did go into Naruto for the fights, but what made me stick was the whole emotions that were through this manga to the readers and everything. So it felt like an alive story, not just a story. And the only other piece of work that's related to it that makes me feel the same, it's Roto Ninja.
Yeah,
My
pretty
closing
much.
thoughts, we're right, you're wrong. Okay? Narasaku's success, Narahina's not. And we have proven this more than enough times.
Yoo-hoo.
And no, you can't sit here and say, well, Kishimoto did. Well, yeah, Kishimoto made this movie too, so, you know.
Well, Kishimoto did make the last, so...
Let's never forget that
Don't have
Kishimoto didn't
any-
write the romance in Naruto the Last, and he even admitted this. But he wrote this movie, and look how good it is.
Yeah.
All its flaws, it's still the #1 Naruto movie everyone loves.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of the few movies I'll always happily put on, no matter what. Otherwise, it's this is, you know, I'm not saying that, I'm not saying that Grand Epic shouldn't be part of Naruto's universe, but I am saying the more down to earth stuff is, it's in its roots.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Nostradamus?
What was the question again?
He's so bad he forgot the question.
Closing thoughts.
Naruto? What's Naruto?
Well, considering the fact that during everything you guys said, you reminded me of all these moments, and I sort of had flashbacks back about these moments. I would say I still like these moments. However, the fact is, I know how it ends, and that kind of destroys my journey throughout the series. Knowing that that ending is still there, and there is nothing that I can do about it.
You can make peace with it.
Or you can read Tokai's thing.
I do read that, and
which is actually really good. And if anybody hasn't,
Who? What?
you can find it on the forum.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, though?
Okay.
So there's this Naruto fan named Tokai on DeviantArt
I
who is.
know. Sorry. Yeah. I saw it.
Well, I was going to explain it to everybody else who didn't know, but that's okay. Chat already knows, so I guess everyone else is SOL.
Chat, wait, no, I know this.
You can do it.
Oh no.
Everyone's at the edge of their seat. Come on, tell me the link.
Same old lines?
Leave the link in the description, okay? I don't want to harm anyone with my... I know. I know that I don't know.
There will
Who's
be
the
a
road.
Nothing.
Who's the username?
Tokai.
Tokai, yeah.
I forget.
Tokai.
I know it's Tokai. It's something else. What the two? It's not.
Tokai 2000.
Yes.
Yeah.
Should be Naruto Alternative the Last.
It's so damn good done.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when Sakura does that high kick. I'm like, Broly, that's hot.
Yeah!
Yeah, but she missed the real target.
No. She kicks him.
What do you mean she didn't miss? She missed the real
Tokai?
target.
No.
No, she missed.
Oh! Okay. I had a blonde moment here.
Oh man, I would totally play it, but I don't know.
Yeah.
if that's
Anyway,
still going.
anyone
Time
else?
to take the garbage out.
Closing thoughts, guys. Come on, don't be mean.
Let's see.
Oh, take away all my fun.
I think MangaReader, do you think
Sorry, James.
I just said good story. That's all. Keep it nice, short, and
MangaReader,
sweet.
good fight. Good night.
My goodness. 3 hours later, and we're still discussing what the heck is going on here.
And
Oh, hey, we don't get many
Almost
chances
4,
to do
but
this.
Anyway.
We don't get many chances.
Yeah, we don't.
We could totally do this anyway.
Yeah.
This brings me back to the old days.
Yep.
Oh,
except you're not
Yeah,
editing. That's I am.
Hey, good luck with that.
Have cut out everything.
Ask Steve here about that. Remember your editing adventures?
Lucky
Yeah,
you can cut the boring one out. That being me, in case you didn't figure it out.
Who are you?
Nobody.
I'm nobody. I don't want to be.
I'll be honest. I don't really think there's much I could add that hasn't already been said. But I just really I like the movie. I like it. It's pretty good.
I think we all can feel that deep down that we all still like Naruto for what it is.
Yeah.
What?
What it became.
And look, if we weren't fans of the series, we wouldn't be so critical of it. And this is what pains us when we talk to
You're the
other fans
most.
about it and they have no idea what we're talking about or they never heard it. Like, how can you be a fan of this series and not know all the little tidbits about it? Okay, miss an interview here and there, that kind of thing. But when you talk to other people and they're like, well, they have no idea what you're talking about, it's like, did you even read the series? Did you even
That's
see anything?
Sometimes it's even worse when they make their own story.
And then they think that's the canon.
Yep.
Oh, I have a story about that, but anyway.
No, please
Not
tell
now.
it. We got another half hour.
No.
Come on, you still got 2% on your phone. You got this.
We may have half
Actually,
an hour, but
1%.
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I need to eat, damn it.
Basically, to say the very least, just to completely wrap this up, it was really fun talking about Roten and to just, reliving the moments, reliving the story, having a discussion with you guys, especially with how often we get to do podcasts like this. Like,
Yeah.
again, I know there was that one podcast we were trying to do with 4 Lives, but I hope he's able to figure that out.
I just hope the cops don't find out about this little gathering. We're supposed to be in quarantine.
It's a digital gathering.
I'm under martial law, so it doesn't matter.
You know you're in quarantine when you're like, hey, it's a nice day outside. And the cops are like, how do you know what kind of day it is?
But yeah, James, Steve, Chad, MangaReader, BlueStar, and Nostradamus joining for the first time. It was really great having you guys on board.
Really great being
For
on board.
Steroid 8 podcast.
Should all check out Nostradamus' singing voice. He sings like an angel.
No, I don't.
Telling lies? You telling lies, James? You telling
You
lies?
sit on a throne of lies.
Well, if I'm lying, may God strike me down.
Okay, guys, that's it. James is done.
And with that being said, that's pretty much it. I'm LuckyRave.
I'm LK and I'm JH, also known as Steve.
I'm JamesSCassidy.
MangaReader.
And I'm Nostradamus, and I'm sorry for being such a bore. This podcast.
Chat here. Nice having you all.
And I'm BlueStarSaber.
And we will catch you guys next time. Stay safe, stay clean,
Stay home.
Flip side.
and don't do anything ridiculous.
Until tomorrow.
Not without
guys.
me.
Or me.
And that
Don't
goes
go places, kids.
for you too, 4 Life. Peace.
We miss you.
Uh-huh.
But my aim's improving.